easier. Oh, I didn't know. Can we talk about it after? Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. That's a good idea. Well, graduate. Sure. Hey there. Testing. Hey there. Hey there. Good evening, everybody. So many new faces. I love it. This is a really special time at each one of our regular council meetings. It's a time when we're able to recognize people, organizations just doing amazing things in our community. And I can tell you, look around you, there's more coming in a few moments. We are not short of any talent in the village of Palmetto Bay. We have such an amazing group of residents doing great things every single day. So I love the 6:30 hour. I am going to add one quick recognition here and would like to ask for Andrea Candelaria to join us. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we can clap for her. That's great. So we have Andrea's mom and dad here in the audience as well. Andrea is our sustainability and resiliency planner, and I took a moment during our most recent drive-through recycle fair, which I think I saw some of these faces at, to thank her and give her recognition. But I wanted for the council to have the opportunity as well to thank her. You know, we have not a huge group of staff members. We've got a small group of staff members doing a lot of different things. And I know Andrea has to get involved in some different things every once in a while. But she began here with us as an intern, and later the then council, decided we have to put our money where our mouth is. Resiliency and sustainability are extremely important to our community, our Bayfront community. I know we're from 136th Street to 184th Street, but as I'm constantly saying, you know, environment does not know those boundaries. Most of us barely know the boundaries either. So being able to do things as a region, I think, is super important. And I've been very proud because we are one of the few small cities, or mid-size, I guess, cities that have put our money where our mouth is. We have a dedicated dedicated person that spends their days thinking about how we can do better in sustainability and resiliency for the next generation of individuals that are going to be living here. And on top of all of that, Andrea does it with just the most amazing smile and good heart. I mean, our clerk always says, I love what I do. I feel that from you, but I also feel it from you. It's so obvious that you love what you do, and we're so happy to have you here. So today, on, what's today's date? May 4th. This is referencing April 25th, but in grateful recognition for your leadership, dedication, and commitment to environmental stewardship in coordinating and organizing the village's spring recycling drive-through event on Saturday, April 25th at the Village Hall Municipal Center. And it goes on to talk about all the things that you promote. I know I read it to you once, so I don't want to bore you with it a second time, but I just want you to know how important you are, not only to the 30 or 40 staff members that you're working with, or the 5 council members, 3 charter officers, but to each one of the individuals that live here, whether they live in Palmetto Bay or not, because the work you're doing here in the village of Palmetto Bay extends far beyond 136th Street and 184th. And so we thank you for everything that you're doing, and just wanted you to know you are appreciated, you are loved, and I will hand you this certificate and ask if my colleagues would like to say something.
Andrea, and thank you so much for being our resiliency director. She is a staff person on a committee that is near and dear to me, the Resiliency Committee. She does a fabulous job keeping the committee going ahead, straightforward ideas, encouraging, working with the committee members. Besides keeping the village going in direction of the environment, thank you so much, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Is it on? Okay. Yeah, just not going through. So I have been on the council for the last year, and I've met with you a couple of times on different resiliency issues, and it's been a pleasure to work with you over the last year, and I'm looking forward to serving with you for the next 2.5 years. It's already been a year and a half since I've been elected, so 2.5 years left. And since then, I think we're really moving in the right direction with our resiliency program here in the village of Palmetto Bay. Obviously, our CRS has gone down for all those who are residents here in the village. That means you have lower flood insurance premiums. That's a direct result of Andrea's work. And we're also working on a number of other things as well, such as pocket parks, the woods, and other big things, and that's directly through your office. So thank you for doing all of that work. And it goes without saying, as the youngest council member up here, the work that you're doing and also that we do as a council is incredibly important as we think about our community as the world changes around us. So thank you for the work that you do.
Andrea, I also get the pleasure of working with you in the Art and Public Places Committee. We've got some stuff to decide tonight, but working with you there, I have been constantly impressed with your attitude, your drive, your intelligence, and one of the highlights of the beginning of the week is when my son Nick and I come by with treats, and we get to drop them off in the manager's office, and I get to spend a couple of minutes with you. So that's, I'm very grateful that you work with us. Please never leave. and thank you very much.
What's your name? Sorry. No, well done, Andrea. Well done. Thank you.
All right, a man of few words. A big round of applause for Andrea Candelaria. Mom and Dad, come on up, come on up. Come on, come on. Is it embarrassing? Yeah, I just asked her, is it embarrassing if I asked your mom and dad to come up to be on the photo too? Mr. Manager, could you join us as well? Doesn't matter how old you are, right? Does not matter. Thank you. All right, I'm going to invite up Fanny Carmona, if you could join us. Fanny is the Director of Parks and Recreation. She does an amazing job. We have a raffle today. Are you in charge of the raffle? Oh, I'm so sorry. Andrea, come back up. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I thought national parks, Village of Palmetto Bay Parks, aren't they almost about the same thing? Do you want to tell them a little bit about the competition? Thank you.
Yes, so as part of the the Palmetto Bay celebrates 250 years of America's birthday, we decided to have monthly events themed towards different American themes that we have here, and we decided for Earth Month for April to tie in our national parks and to let everyone know how important our national parks are, especially with some that we have right in our own backyard. And for this month, we decided to raffle off 2 national park annual pass tickets for an entire year that gives you access to all of the national parks throughout the nation. You're talking about Yellowstone, you're also talking about the Everglades, like in between. And so we had a photo contest for about 3 weeks in which residents had to post a picture and also hashtag PB celebrates 250 parks, and also fill out a form. And so based on those results, we're gonna pick 2 winners from those names. The mayor will, so.
So, and as mayor, I can divert this job to someone else. My intern, Sophie Davis, come on up. You'll be gone. You'll be gone, so no one will be upset if you pick the wrong name.
Okay, our first winner is Patricia Palma. So, oh. Where should I put this?
Here you go. I think we got one more. I picked the wrong person.
I did?
I jammed it. Okay. There you go. Pick one fast.
Okay.
Before I jam it again.
Okay. Okay, our second winner is Diego.
Diego Naranjo.
So we'll be contacting these winners, and they'll also be picking up a certificate from the clerk's office as well.
Thank you, thanks. If you're not aware, the village has a really amazing, intricate 250-year celebration going on. I know our whole nation is celebrating, but we've got a lot of activities, so stay tuned for some of those activities that we have going on right here. Not the least to mention is on May 26th, we will be doing the groundbreaking of a new park here in the village of Palmetto Bay. Finally, a real groundbreaking of Veterans Park. That's right off of 160th, right behind South Motors. So more to come on all of these. All right, next, are the cheerleaders out there? Or are they just so quiet? Okay. Well, we can always skip them. I'll skip ahead and maybe just let me know when it looks like we've got. It's a group of 40 some odd kids, so I think you'll recognize them. Okay, they're the whole group? Okay, all right, then let's bring them on in. You guys are so quiet, I didn't even know you were out there. Southwood Middle School was very noisy when they were out there. I knew when they arrived. Yeah, come on over here. Can you guys vote yet? No? Oh, shucks. All right. Come on in. Welcome, parents. Awesome. All right, welcome. If you see any more in the lobby, Major, if you wouldn't mind sending them in. Well, first of all, to the parents, a big thank you because, for those of you who, you know they're cheerleaders, you probably guessed, I probably don't need to announce that, but this is Coral Reef Elementary School's cheer team, and we were supposed to recognize you last month, but you were gone for another competition, and we're winners once again, so it makes it super easy. So first for the parents, thank you. I know I have a 36-year-old daughter, just one, and I remember running her around from event to event, from activity to activity, and I maintain then what I maintain now. When you have your children engaged, whether it's in cheerleading or softball or lacrosse or soccer, whatever the activity is, and I missed all of the arts, so let me say dance and all kinds of art. It's super important because when our children are engaged, they are busy off the streets, making friends, learning new skills, not only physical skills, but making good friends, lifelong friends, which many of you will probably be through the years, and learning all kinds of things. So that always excites me about our elementary school children. So first, let's do a big round of applause for every parent that is videotaping. That's great, thank you. So, and we also have three amazing individuals, and it's just you tonight, but I'll mention everybody's name. I'm gonna read a little bit, if that's okay. But the Village of Palmetto Bay takes great pride in recognizing and celebrating the achievements of student athletes, which is what you all are, and the dedicated coaches who mentor them, understanding the important role this plays in shaping their character and the future of our youth. We have three coaches, Daniela Gonzalez. Can you help me with this? The top one, thank you. Lauren Blanco. And I won't say my favorite, Mrs. Silva. She's pretty awesome, Catherine Silva. I'm not going to read the whole thing, Catherine. I'm just going to make it a little more personal if I can. You know, we've known each other a very long time. All right, perfect timing, perfect timing. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Did you get your homework done before you got here? No. You've done amazing work through the years. This is not the first year of a winning streak with your cheer team. I want to say really from the beginning, when you're 15. Well, a big round of applause for you, Catherine. And I know some of the girls and their families, and you are extremely beloved, as are your co-coaches. They love them too. But you've been around for a bit, and you bring home the awards, which is amazing. But more importantly than that, you're a definite role model to each one of these young women that are here. Do we have any boys on your cheer team? Not this year. Okay, I don't want to exclude any of the boys because I know boys are really good at cheering too. So first of all, just on a personal level, the Village Council and I would just like to thank you. And then second, we like being winners too. So by way of you, I feel like Palmetto Bay becomes a winner as well. I like to say Palmetto Bay's got talent, and you definitely bring quite a bit of talent and hone in the skills. Perfect timing. I haven't said a word yet. It's awesome. So now, you were kind enough to tell me we did not have to put every child's name, nor did I need to read every child's name. So I'm just going to, you're like, yay. Thank you, because there's 41 of them. But I was prepared to do so. But we're going to give each one of you a certificate so you'll remember. You'll remember what an amazing job you did this year and how important whatever you do. Listen, it's a lot of dedication, and I was making a joke about homework, but you guys still have homework, don't you? Right, so you've got homework, and you've got chores at home, and you've got practice to take care of. So it takes a lot of dedication on your part and hard work to be the very best that you can be. And I know under Ms. Silva's watchful eye, you're doing a really great job. So today, in addition to recognizing each and every one of your coaches, I would like to recognize each and every one of you. This is for the Coral Reef Elementary School cheerleading team in recognition of your outstanding achievement, teamwork, and dedication as a member of the Coral Reef Elementary School cheerleading team. Your commitment, perseverance, and school spirit, because we got a lot of school spirit in here today, have contributed to an extraordinary and historic season. Through hard work and determination, you've helped lead your team to victory in all competitions entered, earning top honors, welcome ladies, among elementary teams and demonstrating excellence beyond your years. Whether as a part of the junior varsity team showcasing remarkable talent and growth among young and first-year cheerleaders, or the varsity team achieving an unprecedented record of grand champion and top score titles, your efforts have brought pride to your school and your entire community. So today, the mayor and the village council, you'll see the other individuals all around here, commend each and every one of you for your dedication, sportsmanship, achievements, and we celebrate your role in this exceptional accomplishment. So a big round of applause to our Coral Reef cheer team. We love you. You're awesome. So we're going to get a quick picture, and then do we? All right. Yes, we're ready for a photo. Are you guys in? Everybody scooch in. 1 second. Let's get our Marshall's moving up. Oh, wait. Get behind. Go back. Here. Perfect. Here, can you hold this? Can you hold that? You're all going to get one? Very good. We good? We'll have them posted on our village website, Instagram, Facebook, and we can send them to Catherine as well. Very good. I do also want to just recognize, if I could, hey ladies, if I could get your quiet for just 1 second. In addition, you have all 3 proclamations, but Catherine, I'm going to give you a challenge coin and one for each one of your colleagues. I don't know if you've received one in the past, but if you have, oh, very good. Well, we're going to give it to you in a handshake. Okay. And for those of you, do we have any military personnel or law enforcement? I see people. Thank you. A big round of applause. Thank you for your service. Thank you. So I know at least 2 people know what a challenge coin is, but if you're not familiar, they were born during World War II, which is a long time ago, and they were a way of the people who were overseas during wartime to be able to show to the community that they were there as a part of the greater community. And today, and every day that you represent Coral Reef Elementary School or the village of Palmetto Bay, you are a part of the greater community. So we thank you for all of your hard work. We love you very much, and we're very proud of you. So thank you, ladies. And don't move yet. I think Miss Catherine's going to help me out with something here. And girls, if you're interested and your parents are okay with this, if I could just get you to sit down on the floor for a quick minute, could you just back and face? So go back over in that direction. You can do this, I think, without talking. I'm going to have you clear out this middle space here, so if some of you can come sit over here, just for one more recognition. And yeah, you guys go that way. Yeah, and I'm going to get you just to move over, because I'm going to use this middle area, if you don't mind. All right, you're doing a great job. So let's get fired up. Let's say it again. Let's get fired up. Let's get fired up. Come on, let's get fired up. So let's get fired up for the voice of the Miami Heat, Michael Biamonte. Can you come around? Let me move up so you want to come around? Well, I don't know how we're going to do that.
Well, we'll figure it out.
So, do you all recognize this individual? Oh, not yet. Basketball, very good. Do you mind the 2 of you just moving right over there, because I'm afraid I'm going to step on you? Thank you. Yes, I know you all recognize it. We have our friend, resident of the village of Palmetto Bay. As I said just a short time ago, we are not short of talent in the village of Palmetto Bay. Michael Biamonte, he has, there's voices that you remember, and then there's voices that you feel right down to the core of your heart, right down to the core of your toes. And the voice of the Miami Heat, Michael Biamonte, has been that voice for 35 years. 35 years. And I can just tell you as a friend, in all honesty, you are more than the voice of the Miami Heat. I think you're one of the most humble, recognizable voices in probably Miami-Dade County, maybe the nation. Just a really humble individual. I met Michael many years ago. Sorry to say, I did not know you were the voice of the Miami Heat back then. Girls, shh, don't tell anybody. But we met through Palmer Trinity because my daughter attended Palmer Trinity. Later years, Michael served on the board of Palmer Trinity. I'm not sure if you're still on the board, but yes, still on the board of Palmer Trinity, a great school in our village. But what Michael has brought, and I said when he came in, I've kind of followed, I don't know if you all have, but followed on social media all of the recognitions that he's received over the course of the last month, maybe 2 months, and probably more to come, I don't know. And so I kind of giggled because I said, well, all of those recognitions, I was thinking, I wonder what happens on May 4th when it's a hometown recognition. But sometimes I think the recognition of hometown is the sweetest one of all. Because you've been a very active member of our community. You've been more than just the voice. You've been an experience, I think, for every person that has ever listened, watched a Miami Heat game or come in person. The few games, and I'm sorry, I don't go to a lot of athletic games, but I love you just the same. The few games that I have been to, it doesn't matter if you're in the nosebleed. Parents, you know where that is, way up high somewhere, the really bad, cheap seats, right? There's no bad seats at the Miami Heat, I'm sorry. But you feel like you're right there. You feel like you're on center court with you. So you've not only been the voice of the tip of the ball, the championship, but really I feel like the voice of the people, to engage them in the game, to make them feel connected to the game. Sometimes people won't even know the score. They'll just remember what Michael Biamonte did at the game. So today, along with my colleagues, we wanted to recognize you. And I'd like to just read just a little bit. Michael Biamonte has served with distinction as a longtime public address announcer for the Miami Heat, becoming one of the most recognizable and respected voices in professional basketball. Whereas for over 3 decades, Mr. Biamonte brought energy, enthusiasm, professionalism to every game, helping to create an unforgettable experience for fans and contributing to the identity and success of the Miami Heat organization. And whereas your iconic voice has been part of numerous historic moments, including the State of the Village in Palmetto Bay. I don't know how historic that was, but including championship seasons, and has left a lasting impression on generations of fans throughout South Florida. And whereas beyond your professional accomplishments, you're a proud resident of the Village of Palmetto Bay, exemplifying community pride and serving as a source of inspiration to those around you. So today, myself, along with my colleagues, Vice Mayor Mark Merwitzer, Councilmember Steve Cody, Councilmember Patrick Fiore, Councilwoman Marsha Matson, we would like to thank you. He's retired officially. It's 2 weeks in. But thank you for all you've done over the decades. We give you our sincere gratitude and wish you all the best in the next chapter. And hopefully, hey, maybe you can volunteer on one of our committees. I just found a job for him, so he can leave home once in a while. So I'm going to give you this, and then I may have done this previously, but I'm going to give you I've already explained the challenge coin, but I'll give it to you in a handshake. And thank you so much for everything on a very personal level and also on a very public level. Thank you for everything that you've done. And I'm going to big round of applause. I am going to pass you the mic.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Mayor and Mr. Vice Mayor and council members and all of my fellow residents of Palmetto Bay. This is an incredible honor. And it's only fitting that when I had a chance to meet with the mayor when we first arrived, she said, I'm going to pass you the microphone, but you only have 2 minutes. 2 minutos. But I would like to say, for 35 seasons, it was amazing to have the support of what we know as Heat Nation behind me, my voice, the organization, throughout the entire course of my career. But I want you all to know how proud I have been to represent the village of Palmetto Bay. Every time my voice was heard in public, I felt the pride and support of all of our residents saying, that's one of our guys up there doing that, representing us. Know that I felt that, know how much I love that, and how much that meant to me. Thank you, Palmetto Bay, for what you have done for me. And Madam Mayor, if I might, I'm going to ask the moms and dads of all these beautiful young cheerleaders to get your phones out. I'm going to give you one last big Michael B. send-off with one of the iconic phrases that I coined 30 years ago. Now, you all have to listen and pay attention because you have to do a little something too, all right? Everybody ready? We're ready back here? And now, stand up and make some noise for Coral Reef Elementary! Thank you, sweetheart.
Before you depart, that was awesome. That was awesome. Not everybody gets that. That's pretty cool. So if I could invite you up to join us for a photo, please. We'll make sure you get the official photos. I invited your beautiful bride up.
Oh, wonderful.
Michael, thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you. Okay, we ready?
All right. You going to follow Michael Biamonte? All right, ladies. Bye. Thank you. Another big round of applause for our very own Michael Biamonte and Coral Reef Elementary. Well, now I know the cheerleaders are in the house for sure. All right. Our next recognition, and if I could invite Morellis, did I get it? Close enough? Close enough. No. Myrellis, I'm so sorry. Myrellis, names are very important. If I could invite up these amazing young women. I don't think I have everybody here, but this is for a recognition for University of Miami engineering students for Stormwater Master Plan. Sounds a little boring, but give them, not from our Resiliency and Sustainability Coordinator, love it. Jess, Emma, Maria, Courtney, and are we missing one? Okay, all right. And your professor, Dr. Chin, is a resident of Palmetto Bay. Do you want to join us so you're not in the back? Come on, okay, you all right? So I was scrolling through social media, which I told you, so I'm not that knowledgeable on the project. That's why I brought Myrellis with me. And I came across you all in a photo, and I saw you were looking at our stormwater master plan. So I was like, I gotta meet these young people, college students, that are looking at something that we had professionals do in 2020 and finding ways to make it better. That doesn't happen every single day. So if I could, I'm gonna pass it off to you first to give a little explanation.
I wrote some points down. Sorry, it's not as cute or entertaining, but we did a little stormwater master plan update. So your village has one from 2020, and we wanted to update it, make it more efficient and more cost effective. And so we implemented French drains, which you put in the ground and they exfiltrate water, stormwater into the ground. And we put these in designated priority areas that were given to us from the Village of Palmetto Bay through Mary Alice and the Stormwater Department. So thank you guys so much for helping us with our project. And we also wanted to factor in climate change and saltwater intrusion, since these are very important for the future, and it will make the entire design a lot more efficient. And we also factored in water quality control especially for direct outfalls, so it would help with the quality in the C100 canal, and since that drains to Biscayne Bay, it would help with beach quality as well. And we just really want to extend our thanks for the entire village, and especially the Stormwater Department for their help with our master plan. Thank you guys so much.
Very good. I'm going to turn it over to Myrelis, and she's going to explain how we partnered.
Hi, so the Stormwater Master Plan is actually very important to the village. It helps us plan our upcoming stormwater projects. We listen to our residents. They have a lot of flooding complaints, and we try to include those in our master plan and see where the next projects will be and in what areas. I just want to say it was a privilege to work with them. They really went above and beyond. And not only did they work on our master plan, but they chose one of our sub-basins and redesigned it. They came up with their own formula. They defined their own variables and optimized one of our designs that we already previously had. So I couldn't be happier, and they were great to work with, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So for those of you, I mean, I know if you live here, you travel around the village of Palmetto Bay, periodically you see stormwater subbasins, new subbasins going in. We have a very well-established plan and have worked systemically as we've gotten money to be able to replace some of those. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I think you kind of explained why it's so important to us. A little bit ago, the Vice Mayor also mentioned the CRS, which is our community rating score, and that plays into the water subbasins, play a large part into our score. It decreases our flood risk. When you have decreased flood risk, those of you that live here who have flood premiums, flood insurance premiums, your rates go down. Mine went down by $1,700, so I thank you, and I thank our staff for that. That was a pretty big change. So today, and I've already mentioned your names, in recognition of your outstanding academic achievement, dedication, and service to the community through your participation in University of Miami College of Engineering Senior Design Project focused on development of a stormwater master plan for the village of Palmetto Bay. I'm going to mention Dr. David Chin, a resident of Palmetto Bay. Through him and his guidance, and obviously our staff's guidance, your work has contributed to a comprehensive evaluation of the village's existing stormwater drainage system. I'm not going to go into all of the other large words here that sometimes water seems kind of boring, but thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate everything that you did. We're happy to be able to recognize you today. And you're welcome to come back anytime and take a look at other master plans. The master plans are important because they're design builds and we're ready to get money for them, so it's super important to us. So I thank you very much, and I'm going to present each one of you. Courtney, thank you. Can you do the challenge coins while I do that? Maria, thank you. Emma, thank you, Emma. And Jess, thank you. And I assume at some point you will see Abo. Yeah, thank you. All right, a big round of applause for these engineers. All right, ladies, thank you. All right, we are getting there. We have 3 more recognitions, and I'd like to invite up class of 2026 to join us. Our Youth Advisory Board, come on up. Our graduating seniors, we have 5 graduating seniors. Actually, is it, Fanny, can you join me? Is it 5 or 6? It's 5, okay, very good. 3 of you have been interns here in the village of Palmetto Bay, so we thank you doubly for your service. But we thank all of you for your work on all the projects over the years. So we have a very active youth advisory board. It's the staff liaison is Director Fanny Carmona. These young people have not only worked on projects that the village is working on, events, helping us set up for things, working the recycle fairs, but they've also had their own projects. Every year they teamed up with colleagues that are on the Youth Advisory Board. This year's projects, and you'll refresh my memory because I've already forgotten them, but we worked on Green Roof, right? And we had a clothing drive. Is that Please correct me. It's okay. Here is okay to correct. That's right, the My Little Library and the toy drive. Thank you, not a clothing drive. Clothing drive was from last year. Yep, thank you. They all kind of blend together. But your projects are super important to the village. And I say this, I mean, we have evidence of it in our own vice mayor, 26, 27, 25? 26, all right. 26 years old, also a graduate of our public school system. If ever I wonder or lose hope that the world is going in the wrong direction and the youth of today have no idea what's going on, I put all of that aside when I look at our Youth Advisory Board, actually and beyond, because we've got so many young people doing great things in our community. We are super, super excited for the next step, and I'm going to pass the mic to you so that you can tell us where you're headed off to and what you plan on studying.
Hi, my name is Gabriela Alvarez, and I'm attending the University of Florida in the fall, and I plan on studying business and journalism.
Hi, I'm Zaina Gupta. I'm also attending the University of Florida, and I'm majoring in marketing and political science.
Hi, I'm Sophie Davis. I'm going to Emory University, and I'm studying finance.
Hi, I'm Madison Burlow, and I'm going to the University of Maryland to study journalism.
Hi, my name's O'Neill Cooper, and I'll be headed off to Duke this August to study environmental law and policy.
So in recognition for your leadership and commitment to the Palmetto Bay Youth Community Involvement Task Force, we thank you. We thank you for your contributions to the Village of Palmetto Bay as well. So today, O'Neill Cooper. Thank you, sir. Marcia, can you do challenge coins? Gabriella? Zaina. I got it right? Is that right? Zaina, Madison, and Sophie. And Councilwoman Matson is giving you each a challenge coin. And a big round of applause for the class of 2026. To the parents, pat yourself on the back. Great job. Each one of you have done just an amazing job. So we give our parents a round of applause as well. Thank you. That's good. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, we'll do the, I'm going to do the villagers next, if I could. Let me get the villagers to come on up and join us, please. These are not the village people. These are the villagers. So, Bev, come on up. So Ms. Gerald reached out. I know we don't have everybody that is a villager that is in Palmetto Bay. Bev reached out. This is, May is Historic Preservation Month, is that correct?
Yeah, May is
National Historic Preservation Month. And, oh yes, and welcome. This is a full-service commissioner, Commissioner Raquel Regalado from District 7. Thank you. That's sweet. So when Bev brought to my attention that we had, I don't know the number, but it was 17 individuals, members of the villagers, some of them my neighbors, that participate in the Village of Palmetto Bay, the greater picture though, the villagers. I thought, oh, this is a great thing to celebrate. When I started reading a little bit more about the villagers and the work you're doing, even more impressed. Just really a labor of love, the fundraising you do to support historic preservation in Miami-Dade County. They're also celebrating their 60th anniversary, or birthday, I guess, if you will. And I learned just a few moments ago that the amount of money that you contributed, this was to Vizcaya museum $60,000 for 60 years of service. So that's pretty spectacular. We have both the president, the current president, and the incoming president. Shelley, sorry. Former. I'm going to be a former coming up in December. Okay. But it's great that you're still actively involved. That's awesome. If I could get you to share just a few words about the work of the Villagers.
My name is Gina Guilford. I'm president of the Villagers. The Villagers is the oldest historic preservation organization in Miami-Dade County. We were formed in 1966, as you mentioned, when they were going to tear down the Douglas entrance for a grocery store. And a group of people got together and prevented that from happening. We have a house tour in December and a garden tour in March where we raise money to give grants to historic sites all over Dade County. In Palmetto Bay, you have some historic sites yourself, the Deering Estate, the Thaletta Estate, and Old Cutler Road. So we are happy to be accepting these certificates for Historic Preservation Month. And if I didn't mention, we're all volunteers. And we also have a scholarship program for students studying historic preservation or architecture with a bent for historic preservation.
Okay, just keeping that in mind over here, right, just in case. Very good. Well, I'm going to read one, and this one is to Bev Gerald. The Mayor and Village Council of the Village of Palmetto Bay proudly recognize and honor the villagers who have worked tirelessly and given their time, talent, and resources to preserve the architectural and cultural legacy throughout Miami-Dade County. In honor of National Historic Preservation Month, declared the month of May, the Villagers are celebrating their 60th anniversary, making 6 decades of extraordinary commitment to historic preservation and restoration of significant sites, while also supporting educational opportunities through scholarships. Your dedication and stewardship through the Villagers have helped safeguard the places and stories that define our community, ensuring that future generations may continue to learn from our shared heritage. So today we say happy 60th birthday. Keep expanding your numbers. We need more Villagers in the Village of Palmetto Bay. And with that, I will pass to you, Bev Gerald. Julie Dow. Fran Blake. We've got Ann House. Lillian Wallaby. That was Lillian Wallaby. And Kathy White. And Councilwoman Matson is going to come through. These are, I'm going to just give them to them. They're not here today. I'll give them to Bev. Give us 1 second. Give us 1 second. Did you get both sides? Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Hashtag photographer. And Marcia is giving each one of you a challenge coin. Thank you for getting down here in traffic. We appreciate seeing each and every one of you. Yes, of course, absolutely. I owe you a certificate. And I'll make arrangements through Bev to get it to you. Yeah, thank you. I don't think our president got one. No, she did. We just sold her house, so I may be moving to Palmetto. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Sure.
The Villagers has the most fabulous house tours, historic house tours, and garden tours. I go on them twice a year, and they're wonderful. I encourage you to go on them. It's wonderful seeing all these houses and gardens in the greater Miami area. It's just breathtaking. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Bev, can I give you all of these, or who should I? These are everyone else. Yeah, very good. I can email them and let them know that you're in possession of them. Thank you. Another big round of applause for the Villagers. And last but not least, Councilmember Fiore, come up and join us. Thank you. So this is, may I get the recognition as well? Thank you. Very good. We are celebrating, every month, if you look on a calendar, you'll find all kinds of things that we celebrate. And one of the things this month is Haitian American Heritage Month, and it's a time to celebrate the rich culture, history, and contributions of Haitian Americans throughout the United States. I know, Pat, I think of Judy when when we were putting this together, and maybe you could share a few words with us.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Really on behalf of all Haitian Americans, my wife, yes, is Haitian. She was born in a little town called Jeremy in Haiti, and the contribution of Haitian Americans in this country is tremendous, not just here in South Florida, but in New Jersey and all over the country. And especially at a time, difficult times like these, but I'm also the proud father of 2 children, and my daughter is, and I've said this before, is one of the 2% of black female physicians in the United States. She's an OBGYN in maternal fetal medicine in San Antonio, Texas. My son is an ultrasound radiologist in Colorado, so we're very proud of them, very proud of my wife's family. But I also want to introduce Officer Gio Joseph here, who's Haitian and who I met when he was a little kid. I don't want him to say anything. Knocking on his door here in Palmetto Bay. So I am actually going to present this to you, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to read a little bit here, last few things. Whereas the heritage of Haiti, the first independent nation in Latin America and the Caribbean, and the first black republic in the world, is a source of pride and inspiration, reflecting a legacy of resilience, freedom, and determination. And whereas the village of Palmetto Bay values the diversity of its residents and recognizes the importance of honoring and celebrating the traditions, achievements, and cultural heritage of Haitian Americans, and whereas Haitian American Heritage Month provides an opportunity for all residents to acknowledge and appreciate the enduring contributions and vibrant culture of the Haitian American community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Karen Cunningham, together with the Village Council of the Village of Palmetto Bay, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Haitian American Heritage Month. Outstanding.
Rushed up from outside. All right, and with that, we're going to take a 2-minute reprieve so that they can boot us back up for the meeting. Those of you that joined us for this portion of the meeting, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll start in just a couple of minutes. All right, we are live. Good evening. I'm going to go ahead and I'm beginning the meeting. I'll wait a moment. We've got a couple people still moving about. Great, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and start this regular council meeting for Monday, May 4th, 2026. We're beginning a little bit late, 7:32 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Present.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer.
Present.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore.
Present.
Councilmember Steve Cody.
Here.
Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Here.
Quorum is met.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Fiore for invocation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If we could all bow our heads in prayer. Tonight's reading is from Luke, chapter 9, verse 23. And he said to them all, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." Amen.
Amen. With that, if I could get everybody to please stand, and I'd like to invite up Troop 314 and 816 to lead us in the pledge.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God.
Thank you to the troop masters and the parents from those two troops. It's great to see them out here. All right, very good. We don't have any minutes to approve. I spoke with the village clerk. She'll be bringing the minutes from last month to next month's meeting. At this time, we'll take requests, petitions, and public comments. Requests, petitions, and public comments during this time are usually for items that are not before us tonight. So come on up, Mr. Pastorella. Mic's not on, Gary.
Thank you. How you doing? Good to see you. Gary Pastorella, 6940 Southwest 142nd Terrace. I wanted to address 10A. It says for public hearing, but it doesn't say public comment, and it talks about the consent agenda and moving things over to the consent agenda. When you move things from into the consent agenda, it takes away the people's ability to redress. And when you have public comment, we have the opportunity to address whatever you're trying to do, and we can speak to the ups or downs or things such as that. But when you move it straight over to the consent agenda, it kind of takes away our ability to do that. So I would oppose the 10A at this point in time. I'll speak to other issues. But what I also find fascinating, I just came up tonight since we had an award for diversity and inclusion. Well, we didn't talk about inclusion and equity. We just talked about the diversity. And this is something that seems to be the state and the federal government seems to be against. And I spoke to this last month. They're painting over the walkways and the crosswalks, and they're not allowed to discuss it. We're not allowed to discuss the environment. We can't discuss science. We're not allowed to discuss many things that we've come to need and necessitate and expand. And one of the beautiful parts about this country, having been a Pan Am flight attendant and traveled all over the world, is our diversity. The people that we have in this country represent the globe. And the beautiful people, as you travel the world and you encounter all these different nationalities and how warm and inviting they are, we, the Americans, when we have gone to other countries, have been rude and obnoxious, and we lack the appreciation of what they bring to this country. And I just want to point it out again, that if we're going to be the greatest country on earth, it has to be inclusive, and we include everyone, all nationalities, all races, from all different parts of the globe. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Vitaly Palkovich, 9280 Southwest 167 Terrace. Palmetto Bay. One of the things I want to recognize is our village clerk for doing an amazing job. I mean, I can't imagine preparing for something like that, how long would it take, especially pulling up information and things like that. Also, I'd like to recognize National Police Week. You know, man, can you imagine having the job, having to leave your family and not know if you're going to come back or not, or stop in the car and not knowing what's in that car that you stopped for, basically for traffic violation, and winds up that officer getting hurt because of someone decided they want to be crazy for that day. You know, I'm very thankful being a resident in Palmetto Bay. However, when I go out and I see a lot of things, I would like to recognize our commissioner who's sitting right there. She's doing an amazing job in Miami-Dade, and you know that as a resident, we get to see what's going on in Miami-Dade in our area, and I'm very grateful to be living here. Thank you.
Thank you. Last speaker?
Madeline Roman, 9383 Southwest 182nd Street. The village spends an awful lot of money on some useless traffic mitigation. We put 15 feet of plastic pole up around a speed hump to make it look like we're protecting the bike lanes instead of just ticketing every driver that doesn't follow the rules of the road. Because if we were really about protecting the bike lanes and enhancing our master plan, you would have used a cement barrier along the stretch of the bike lanes like they have around various sections of Cutler Bay. Here's another example of making the wrong choices when it comes to traffic mitigation by our history of contributing to the obstruction of the county's master plan, especially hearing a council member just today say how important these plans are. You know, I have the transcripts from the shade sessions related to the infrastructure that's going to be opening up soon, as well as the traffic studies and copies of the comments made by various experts. And there's an item later on asking the county for provisions to minimize cut-through traffic as a result of that infrastructure. But we know that the development is not going to stop all around us. We know that BRT wasn't expected to help much for travelers that are less than 6 miles from the train station, and that the synchronized lights have pretty much been a failure. We have seen plans for the Palmetto Bay Center and Southland Mall on social media, which will likely have an impact to Old Cutler Road. Those of us that are pro-connectivity never saw a single advancement in infrastructure or public transit as a silver bullet to resolve traffic issues. We've seen every proposal as another cog to keep us safe and moving as design pieces of the county's master plan takes place. I hope we will be learning from the mistakes made. Every past council, and this one included, attempted to obstruct infrastructure that subject matter experts said was needed, and legal counsel inside and outside said would eventually come anyway. We should be looking at installing additional infrastructure now and not make the same mistakes. You all are tasked with being fiscally responsible, and past and present council cost the county taxpayers an additional 180% of the original estimated cost of $1.8 million in road improvement funds, and that doesn't even include the cost to us for the nuisance lawsuits aimed at obstruction. We expect council members to look at these facts and think about the eventuality of things along with being fiscally responsible. So it's disheartening to know that we are now begging the county for the very things that they offered to share the costs on in an interlocal agreement that was proposed years ago when the village was obstructing progress. I'm sure you hope their memory is short, but we didn't make any friends with the county. Here's an opportunity to make it right. Don't just stop with the ask on the cut-through traffic mitigation, but ask for the missing infrastructure on 77th Avenue and the roundabout on 87th Avenue and 174th Street. Get ahead of this before Palmetto Bay Center and the Southland Mall location become greater contributors to our infrastructure needs. Thank you.
Thank you for your support, appreciate. Is that it for public comments? Okay, very good. I'm going to go ahead and close the public comments. If it's okay with the Village Council, we have Commissioner Regalado. Could you please join us? I'm going to see if we can forego the manager's report, or at the very least put it at the end, and give some of this time to Commissioner Regalado, a friend on the commission, so thank you.
Always a pleasure. Madam Mayor, I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always wonderful to be here with you. Before I get into what I was going to speak to, I was just going to say, The county is now going intersection by intersection on the busway, and we're taking ownership from the contractor of the different intersections, and in an attempt to fix them. So if you want, I've requested a memo of all of the intersections. I think that's like the easiest way, as opposed to going through each commissioner and we start splitting it up. So Homestead asked me for it, so I know that they're working on it, so I'm happy to send it to the manager. Some obviously are more complex than others, but the signalization has been difficult for everyone along the corridor. So we are all equally disappointed in that piece. But ridership is up, and we've added more buses, and it is a work in progress. But I'm happy to send you that information. And then I would tell you also, to reach out to Stacy Miller directly. She's wonderful. She used to be at FDOT, and she could really speak to her, and Josiel could really give you some information on what are the options for traffic calming. And if you are making some requests, a lot of these developments have impact fees that goes into a large bucket at the county, but that can be tailored to specific infrastructure needs when it comes before the board. So,
Thank you for sharing. I think the manager has Stacy Miller on speed dial. So.
yes, she's lovely.
Thank you, and thanks for your leadership on the lights. Appreciate it.
So, so with that, I came to speak to you all about my neuro-inclusion toolkit. So thank you for giving me the time. Karen and I worked together in my prior life when I went to the school board, and it's amazing that I was at the school district. Now it's been 15 years since I decided to tell everyone about my daughter's diagnosis, and so much has changed. So first, I want to say that it's so wonderful to be in a space where we can talk about neuro-inclusion, and where people are talking about autism, and where we're explaining how it's not just autism. So obviously April is Autism Acceptance Month, and you guys were one of the first to raise the flags. I want to thank you for always being so supportive. You have some great parents and some great organizations. But it was important for me to talk about neurodiversity, not just autism, because a lot of children, including my daughter, have more than one neurodiversity. So my daughter actually has autism and ADHD, so ADHD, which is very complex. And a lot of people who are in the spectrum also have different issues, whether it's OCD or dyslexia. There's a lot of different combinations, and we learn more and more about neurodiversity every day. So briefly to explain it, because I think it's important when we talk about the toolkit, is on one side of the spectrum of neurodiversity, you have neurological delay, which is autism, Downs, dyslexia, Tourette's. There's a series of things, epilepsy there, that over time can get better. And that's important because our healthcare system is actually created for people who are on decline, not in delay. In the middle of the spectrum, you have traumatic brain injury, and that's people who have accidents and as a result become neurodiverse. And then on the other side, you have the elderly with dementia and Alzheimer's. And that's important because when we talk about the tools that I'm going to be presenting, a lot of these can be used for dementia and Alzheimer's too, and I don't want to leave them out of the conversation, because when we talk about sensory friendly events and sensory overwhelm, a lot of people don't know that while about 80% of people who are neurodiverse have some sort of sensory issue, more than 85% of adults that have dementia or Alzheimer's, their first sign of those two issues are sensory issues. So a lot of people think, oh, they were forgetting something and they were overwhelmed. They're usually overwhelmed because of lighting or noise or texture, all those sensory synapses that have been activated by their neurodiversity. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is also great for that population. And when you put it all together, right, autism right now is 1 in 31. Neurodiversity is 1 in 5. So this isn't an outlier. It's a lot of humans that we could help with very little effort. So that's my general spiel on why neurodiversity and not autism. But the toolkit is actually a combination of the work that I've been doing over the last few years as pilots in the county. And the reason that I did them that way is because I wanted everyone to replicate them. And that's what the toolkit is about. It goes through all the different programming that we've done. It explains it, what is the Miami-Dade model, and then in the back it has all the appendices, all the legislation, all the data, everything that we use, how you can do it. And the idea is that you can just pick up anywhere in the toolkit and do any part of this. So obviously I started at the county with training. I really believe that training is infrastructure, and the toolkit kind of leads with that. Training is important because specifically with police and fire, it prevents unnecessary Baker Acts, it prevents unnecessary arrests, and it just makes parents and caregivers a lot more at ease when their children and adults go into the environment. We did it with UMNSU CARD. They're an amazing partner. And to date, the toolkit says 2,300 and something. That was the last report that the county issued. The new one's coming out next month, and we're already at 4,210 police officers and firefighters trained in Miami-Dade County. So, and the training that we do is an in-person training with UMNSU CARD, and it's wonderful because they get to meet autistic adults that have been pulled over and have these incidents, and they tell their story and their perspective on what it was like to be asked to take a drug test, right, or asked to do a sobriety check when really they were just autistic. So it's been really important for our first responders to interact with them and to see it from their perspective and from the caregiver's perspective. We've had an amazing response to the training, and families really do feel much better about it. 3 years when we rolled out the decal, we did it when the sheriff's office was still under Miami-Dade County. That's available to everyone. What we did is it's a registration. You go, you register, and then you get a decal, and it's available in 911 across the entire county. Sheriff Rosie augmented that this year in April. She actually added vehicle registrations. So now not only can you register your home and put specific information about whether the individual that lives there is verbal, nonverbal, their name, what their personal de-escalation is, but now you can also do it for your vehicle too, which for those of us who love neurodivergent people is life-changing. But the training wasn't just for our police and fire. We trained all of our parks employees, and we actually got the designation as autism friendly in all of our parks. We did social stories for all of our parks, and all of our park design now has the kind of neurodiverse look. There's no such thing as a park that is neurodiverse friendly, but we do try to enclose them, and we do try to create a site of line so that you can see through things, because it's so important for parents to feel that someone is not hiding behind something, or someone can get lost if you have like a runner. My son was a runner, so I feel for parents that have runners and elopers. But we also trained everybody in our libraries. We have 50 social stories, and one of the things in here is how to do a social story. You can do a social story for different events. You can do it for any place in any city, county. I also put in here the travel section. We're currently training all of our transit employees. We use the Sunflower Lanyard, and we also use that at the airport. The airport has a wonderful program called MIA Air. MIA Air we've expanded it over the last few years, but it's a dress rehearsal for neurodivergent children and adults so that they go through the entire process of going to TSA, sitting down, boarding the plane, sitting in the plane, turning on the TV, meeting the pilot, and then they visit the sensory room, and of course we buy them Chick-fil-A, because, come on, who doesn't love Chick-fil-A? Yeah. It's a great field trip. Gotta love Chick-fil-A. Although my daughter will now say Raising Cane's, but that's a story for another day. But the idea is to really give families options, and it comes with a social story, and it's bilingual, so that the first time that they go to an airport isn't the first time they've ever been there. I really focused on these high conflict points. So whether those high conflict points were at a library where everyone's supposed to be well behaved and quiet, or at a transit station, or at an airport, or the first interaction that they have with a police officer or a firefighter. The idea was to really make that first interaction as pleasant as possible under the circumstances, and as normal as possible, given the limited information that we have at that moment. So the other thing that I added on here was advisory boards. So the mayor and I have talked about advisory boards. We modeled it after the Corey Gables advisory board. Corey Gables has had a wonderful advisory board for a long time. Craig Lean was their attorney, and he set it up. And what we've done is we've helped other cities do it. The legislation is here. We provide the legislation too. And I think it's just a great opportunity for parents to come and speak to government so that it's not just about access. And that way we can figure out, do you need adult programming? Do parents want sensory spaces? Do they want sensory-friendly activities? It just gives them like a place to congregate and have those conversations. And we're happy to host and help with that. And then sensory places and inclusive public events. One of the examples that I gave in the toolkit was the Youth Fair. The Youth Fair has been a great partner. One of the reasons that I wrote the toolkit is I don't want you to have to hire a consultant. The Youth Fair partnered with UMNSU CARD the first year, and they did a sensory room and a social story. Then the second year, I worked with them to do a sensory map. So we just designated sensory-friendly areas throughout the fair so that parents could kind of go in a different direction so they wouldn't have sensory overload. And then this year, they were kind enough to allow us to try out sensory hours. So every Saturday and Sunday this year at the Youth Fair from 12 to 3, we turned down all the music and all the lights. And even the neurotypical people loved it. Because as you know, you go from ride to ride and it's like, da, 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 and the music changes again. So it was really so much nicer to have something that was like calmer and quieter. And it was a big hit with our parents and our caregivers. We did the same thing with Loud and Live. They did a silent night on Wednesdays when they did their event in Tropical Park. So something as simple as just turning off the strobing lights and turning off the music is a sensory-friendly activity. So just think of that when you host events and you have gatherings, that there's a few small things that you can do to tweak it and really make it more inviting. And then we have neuro-inclusive government service days. So the tax collector has been a great partner, but we've used all of our constitutionals to bring services to different families. But I mentioned the tax collector because a lot of parents don't know that starting at 5 years old, you can get a state of Florida ID. And the state of Florida now allows you to put your disability voluntarily on that ID. So it's a huge thing for parents, especially when they travel, whether locally or internationally, to have that ID and to be able to have the disability on there. So I highly recommend it. And then we do that every third Saturday of the month. And then April and October, obviously October is Disability Employment Month, but really to use those 2 months as goal-setting opportunities and not just like performative is what I'm asking everyone to consider. And then employment and workforce access. What I did at the county is I embedded in all of our existing programmings. Nothing that I did created a new system. Everything was just changing the rules within our existing systems. So our intake systems for our interns, instead of being a sit-down conversation, just allow them to do the work, as opposed to, ask for eye contact and a conversation. And also something as simple as giving neurodiverse employees the questions that you're going to ask them at the interview ahead of time so that they can think about it and be prepared and they're not shocked when they first have it. It just gives them such a wonderful opportunity to step into these areas. And I talk about the Kendall Learning Academy and the internships that we've done with the county that have actually been fantastic. So that's kind of everything that's in the toolkit. And I think they were going to give you a physical one, and then we have like the QR code that I'll give to you. I did it as a website because I'm constantly like updating it, so you'll see it grow exponentially. But I just wanted to come and present it and to see if you all wanted help to do any of this work. We're here to help and provide resources. You have a beautiful village, and I know that you're a believer, and a lot of you are, and I want to thank you for always being so lovely. It's wonderful to see cities across Miami-Dade County really talk about neurodiversity, and I really think that in a place that is known for diversity of culture and diversity of religion and diversity of ethnicity, we could really lead and be the leader when it comes to diversity of thought. Because the only difference between my children and other children is that mine just think a little differently. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any questions for the Commissioner, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, so thank you so much for this presentation. My main question is, I really appreciate the county training programs. I know you mentioned the Parks and Recreation Department. I'm wondering, does the county offer that same training to municipalities for our own Parks and Recreation Department?
So we did the training through UMNSU CARD. So I didn't create a place for the county to do the training. What we do is they provide the training for park staff, and they helped us create the social stories, and then just gave our planners some general parameters about that. So you can do that with UMNSU card, or we can give you the examples that we used are in the toolkit, so you can check those out too. We recently did a very little park in my district that's a great example, which is Cherry Grove. I don't know if you know it, it's by the library. But it's a very small park, but it's enclosed, and we made sure that everything, you could see through it, and it was all positioned in a way where from one point you can see the entire park, which obviously if you're a parent like me, that's important. So yeah, it would be UMNSU card, but we're happy to connect you with them or with our Parks Department so you can see what we've done.
That'd be great, yeah, because our Parks Department is our public-facing service that we have here in the Village of Palmetto Bay, so to have that training, I think, would be very valuable. Another question, a little bit off topic. You mentioned quiet places and sensory overload. I had the pleasure of traveling through San Francisco Airport a couple of months ago, and
Quiet airport, I have requested it many times. My colleagues did not want, but yes, I'm a big fan.
It is so much nicer of a travel experience. So.
100%, 100%. And look, I mentioned it, people got upset at me, I brought the motion, but also we have sensory rooms in our airport, and there's a board there so parents can see, so they don't have to be outside, and we're putting one, we have 3 right now, but the idea is to have 1 in every concourse. Yeah.
Councilmember Cody.
Thank you. Not so much a question, but just I want to thank you for all that you've done. You have taken the ball on this. I'm a father of someone who is neurodivergent. I'm also the uncle of a niece and a nephew. And my son is in his 30s, and going back when he first got the diagnosis, we really had to struggle to get recognition and to get programs. And I found myself sometimes fighting with the school board to get what should be done. So I thank you for everything you do to make sure that your children and my children and all the other children out there can come into the world and make contributions.
Thank you,
So,
Steve.
thank
And
you.
I will tell you what I tell parents. You know, we've come so far, and you know that. I mean, you're things were so different even 10 years ago, let alone 30 years ago. And one of the things that I think is starting to happen is this: we're building a special needs community, which about time, right? I think it's so important for our parents to get activated and to start focusing on the bigger picture, specifically transition to adulthood, which should start those conversations at 10 or 12. But I think in the next 10 years, we could really make a difference. And the example that I give people is, look, if you would have told someone 50 years ago that women would be elected and would dominate the educational sphere, right? And would be sitting in boardrooms, they would have told you that that was nuts. I mean, I'm 51 years old. When I was born, my mother still had to get my father's signature to open a bank account. So we've come a long way at a time where we didn't really have access to media or the ability to enter those rooms. So I think now with social media and with our ability to create content and educate people through that content, sometimes it's scary because people use it with ill intent. But I think, if we organize ourselves in the next 10 years, I think that being neurodivergent is gonna be, either you're right-handed or left-handed, right? They'll just give you the right scissor. And we'll just have different tools for those human beings. And that's the world I hope that we can build. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Commissioner, thank you so much for coming out. Are you going to leave? Because I'm going to make a request to the manager to go to the digital website and see how we can link it to our website as well. More people will have more information, and knowledge is power. So appreciate
Definitely.
that.
And if you want me to help with your staff, whether it's parks or whatever, doing the social stories, it's very simple. It's just a matter of some pictures and some PDFs, and we could do some basic things, and you can get started there if that's where you want to start. Phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, Boy Scouts, I'm not going to encourage you to leave, but when the commissioner steps out, you may want to go out to the lobby and get a picture. You'll thank me later. Like 20 years from now, you'll thank me later. You don't get to take pictures with commissioners every day. So, Commissioner Regalado, thank you so much. Appreciate. Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much, Commissioner. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. The boys are on the move. I can feel it. It's Commissioner Regalado, District 7. All right. Very good. We're gonna put the manager's report to a little bit later, if that's okay, so we can kind of keep moving here. Village Attorney's report.
Yep. I mean, inside the report are my invoices for general municipal matters for the month of March. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Question, Councilwoman Matson.
Back in May, the council passed a resolution for having, as part of the agenda, a detailed legal expenditure report, which is different from the attorney's report. I wonder when you're going to start including that in the agenda.
I mean, it's all in there. I mean, those are my invoices and my bills. Those are the expenses. So I put them as part of the attorney report, but it's the same thing. So if you'd like me to put it under a different section, I'm happy to do that.
I'll send you a copy. I'll send you a photograph of what came out before and what the resolution asks for, because it's not this. This is your expenses. It's not the detailed legal expenditure report. I'll send you
I'm not sure what you're asking, because the expenditure is what's in the bills.
I'll show you.
Okay. I mean, to the extent it's anything different, I'm happy to include it. But
okay, thanks.
Thank you, and you guys can talk about that at some other point. Any other questions for the attorney? No? Okay, then, Madam Clerk, your update, please.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. For the sake of time, I ask that the council forego the explanation of the public meetings calendar. The information is accessible and available on the village website.
Thank you. That was quick. Whoa. We have 3 board and committee reports. Would someone move them? Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. We have no emergency ordinances. We are on to ordinances for second reading. Would this be an appropriate time, or should I wait for a resolution? I'll wait for the resolutions. I do have an agenda item in resolutions that I'm going to withdraw before we get there, but we'll do the ordinances right now. Ordinances for second reading. Would somebody move item 10A?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, can you please read the item?
An ordinance of the Mayor and Village Council of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Florida, relating to council meeting procedures, amending section 2-49 and 2-50 of the Village Code of Ordinances regarding consent agenda procedures, providing for codification, severability, and an effective date. This ordinance is sponsored by Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer, passed on first reading at the April 6, 2026 regular council meeting.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, you provided us with several changes or motions. Are those motions you're going to be making?
No, they're just an explanation of the item. That's all.
Okay, very good. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Go ahead.
The village clerk's office received 1 public comment by form for item 10A. The comment was received by Pam Gorman. She resides at 14140 Southwest 72nd Avenue. This proposed ordinance will reduce excessive time on an item. I support this ordinance because it will shorten meetings, eliminating unnecessary discussion. End of comment.
Thank you. Public comment?
Gary Pastorella, 6940 Southwest 142nd Terrace. If the item is such, or you're going to be funding whatever it is, there's not going to be a lot of public comment. When you take this and you move it into this, when you move into consent agenda, you take our ability away to speak directly to it. So you're looking to shorten it up. It's not a problem. I'll stay here all night if I have to, as long as we get what's done, what needs to be done in the correct way. So don't move things just so you don't have a public comment. You need us to be able to speak to it. address if necessary, so don't just throw it under the rug.
Thank you for your comments. All right, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I'll actually start by saying I wholeheartedly agree that the public should have every right to speak on items on the consent agenda, which is actually part of the reason why I brought this item forward. Currently, there is no process in our consent agenda to allow the public to speak before we actually decide the consent agenda. Obviously, you can speak during request petitions or public comments, but there is no formal mechanism in place right now under our current rules to allow members of the public to talk on the items that are on consent agenda. So to get into the item itself, this just makes a couple of changes tonight to streamline and modernize the process for our consent agenda in a few important ways. The first is that we're extending the written request deadline from noon to 5 p.m., giving members of this council more time to review the materials before them, and also give the public the heads up as to what's on the consent agenda and what's not. Right now, we do not have a process where the public is aware until we get to the consent agenda what has been pulled from the consent agenda. So what that means is that the public is essentially flying blind as to who has taken the initiative to pull something off a consent agenda. The second thing is that after public comment, we're now going to be able to adjust what is and is not on the consent agenda. So right now, when the meeting starts, there is no way we can make changes to the consent agenda. If we had 100 people come into this room for an item on the consent agenda, we have no real way to remove it without making a motion. No single member can go ahead and remove it from the consent agenda. So what this essentially does is add that process in where during the meeting we have that discussion as to what should remain on the consent agenda. And also for this meeting specifically, I do have an amendment later on for an item on the consent agenda, and this provides a formal process to make quick changes to items that are on the consent agenda without having to have us pull it. So in short, the intent of this item is to streamline our consent agenda and also make it so that we have a more robust conversation that involves both the public and members of this council. And also it lets the council itself decide what we are discussing during the meeting. Right now, the ability to set the consent agenda rests with the administration. I think that we as the council should control our meetings and decide what we should be discussing. So with that, I gave you all a handout which discusses what is currently the current policy for our village with the consent agenda and what's changing. It just gives a bullet point breakdown. Happy to answer any questions. This is on second reading, so I appreciate the second time this is coming up, so thank you.
Thank you. Just quick question. Did you make any changes between first and second reading?
No, because no one reached out to me to ask for a sunshine meeting on it either, so I just thought it was good as is.
Thank you. Questions for the Vice Mayor? Councilwoman Matson?
Is this a similar process as the county uses to have a more efficient agenda, but also allow the public to speak?
I would say it's actually a little bit more efficient than the county. It also gives more deference to the public to speak as well. At the county level, you don't know what's on the pool list until last minute. There's nothing printed out for the public. And also the time for things that are on the quote unquote pool list at the county level are essentially announced last minute. This gives a lot more time and process for our members and the residents to go through things. So it's, I would say, even better than what the county does.
Councilmember Cody? No? Councilmember Fury?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think at the last meeting, I think I made a lot of amendments and a lot of changes in this that everybody wanted. So the only thing I would add really is and I would ask the Vice Mayor, if you want to add an amendment, what do we say? Public comments on anything not on tonight's agenda? Is that what we say, Madam Mayor? Is that what we say?
I'm sorry.
Public, like when you ask for
comment. Yeah,
public comments on anything?
It is designed for items not on the agenda.
Okay, so maybe you just want to add public comment for any items not on tonight's agenda and the consent agenda. Maybe you could just add those words in there. That gives the public the ability to at least say now is my time to speak on a consent agenda item, even if it's not pulled. So that's my amendment, Mr. Vice Mayor.
I'll second it.
Is there discussion on the amendment? Questions, discussion? Okay, let's call the roll on the amendment.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritor?
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Cody?
No.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore?
Yes.
Mayor Karen Cunningham?
Yes.
Councilmember Marsha Matson?
Yes.
You caught the amendment too. Madam Clerk, Did you catch the amendment?
I'll go back and listen to
We
it.
can,
in
let's
the
give it
audio.
to you one more time if you would. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, Madam Clerk, it's basically when the mayor calls for public comments on anything not on tonight's agenda, we're just adding the words public comments on anything not on tonight's agenda and the consent agenda in some form or fashion. And I leave that up to the mayor to decide. Thank you.
I think I understand, Councilmember Fiore. It's on page 3, looks like probably line 14, where it says, where it talks about discussion, public shall be afforded an opportunity to address the council on any items on the consent agenda, and then add in, or for any items not on the agenda. Is that correct?
As long as, well, I don't think so.
Okay.
Perhaps it is. Yeah, we can add that in there, but I'm kind of deferring to the mayor as the chair of the meeting.
Oh, I
So
see.
like when it's stated, and however the mayor wants to state it is her prerogative. I think she's earned that after 3 elections. So I would say any items not on, including the consent agenda, or however you want to say it. Does that make any sense to you, Madam Clerk? There's 4 meetings left, 5 meetings?
Vice Mayor, I think, is going to try and.
I
not
think
clarify
I
you,
think
but-
I understand what you're getting at. I think what you're trying to say is that for request petitions and public comments that we have at the beginning of the meeting, you want to add items related to consent agenda to that as well. And
If
do
the people want to speak to it, yes.
Exactly. So I think that's what you're getting at. I'm totally fine with making that change. Does the attorney and clerk understand essentially what I think my colleague is getting at is that request petitions and public comments should also add and consent agenda. And then just for the public comment section within here, that just gets moved to, it just gets referenced to that comment period. Is that what you're getting?
Yes.
I think you could just say end consent agenda.
Perfect.
Yes, it's basically verbiage,
Yeah.
as the mayor stated. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Councilmember Cody, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I have an amendment as well. If you would take one and pass it down.
So sorry. Did we vote on the amendment?
It did,
Yes,
yes.
we
It was,
did.
the amendment passed 4-1.
Yes. Okay.
My amendment is I would like to strike the requirement that all resolutions be placed on the consent agenda and replace it with the consent agenda, and for the purpose of the clerk, a written copy of this is making its way down to you. The consent agenda shall contain routine and non-controversial resolutions that, in the opinion of the village manager, may be handled without the necessity for discussion. 2, strike the provision requiring 2 or more no votes to register separate consideration and clarify that any individual council member may request removal of an item from the consent agenda for separate consideration. And 3, strike the 2-minute limitation on discussion or amendment for consent agenda items. And that, taken together, is my amendment.
Okay, I'll second it for the purposes of discussion. Are there questions for Councilmember Cody? I need a minute, if you don't mind.
Yes, I do. Is your first point what we have now?
Yes.
Okay. And is your second point what we have now?
Yes, although it can still happen prior to or along the timeline that the vice mayor has put in his proposal.
And is the third point the 2-minute limitation? Then there would be no limitation other than what we've already decided is a limitation on discussion, right?
We already have a 10-minute item. The 2-minute limitation, I think, frankly, is too restrictive because that's 2 minutes split among all 5 of us. And if you get somebody who's particularly verbose, let's say, a former lawyer, they might be able to pick up the entire 2 minutes, and then the question would have to be called and would not give an opportunity for anybody else to speak. This assures fairness, I think.
Vice Mayor, I think you wanted to make
Yeah,
a correction.
so a couple of things. Number one, Mr. Attorney, I don't believe this amendment is germane to what's before us tonight because it essentially is just voting down what's before us tonight. The bulk of this is essentially the current policy. I would be clear to everyone. I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding from my colleague as to what this item actually does with the 2-minute limit. Essentially, the point of it is that we will have full discussion on the item if someone wants to pull it. And the point I am trying to make is if something requires more than 2 minutes of discussion while it's on consent agenda, maybe it should be removed from the consent agenda for full discussion. So there is no 2-minute limit on the item as a whole. If someone wants to talk on an item for more than 2 minutes, I think that council members should take the prerogative of removing that item from the consent agenda, which this grants them the ability to do. And essentially the rest of it just goes back to what we have now. So I would encourage my colleague to just vote against the item as is if he thinks this is a better policy, and that's fine. But I don't see how this amendment is different from current policy, which is what we're trying to fix here. So that's why I would hope to have everyone opposing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other questions or comments? All right, Madam Clerk, call the roll on the amendment.
Councilmember Marsha Matson,
No.
Mayor Karen Cunningham,
No.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore,
No.
Councilmember Steve Cody,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mark Meriter.
No.
I do have a quick question and happy also to make a motion. Vice Mayor, I mean, this is the smallest of, I think this is a lot of change, and I didn't support the item first reading. But where you talked earlier about if something about, as it relates to residents not knowing which items have been pulled, right? So, and we're going to notice now and say these items have been pulled, but we're going to give the council up to 5 p.m. the day of the meeting. And I think I had said, I actually think if you're going to pull an item, it needs to be earlier, right? I mean, that's just me. So currently we have 12 p.m. I think actually in some ways too, it definitely helps the chair to know which items have been pulled. That's just my opinion. But I would assume it would help all of you. I'm guessing we're looking at the agenda before, earlier. So anyway, that's just my thought. I don't necessarily, I don't know if I'm going to support it. I definitely don't like delaying, and I don't really even understand extending the time to 5 p.m. for pulling of items.
I'll move to remove that.
So that will remain the same.
I'll keep it at 12 o'clock. That's fine.
Okay, so do we need a motion to do that?
Yes.
Then can I make a motion? I'll make a motion, I guess.
I'll second it.
Is there discussion? Questions? Are you good, Madam Clerk?
Yes,
All right.
Mayor, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay.
We need a vote on the motion.
I'm sorry. Can you call a vote on the change?
Vice Mayor Mark Meriter,
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Cody,
Yes.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore,
Yes.
Mayor Karen Cunningham,
Yes.
Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Yes.
Sorry, just give me one moment, please. Anything else? Comment, go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to thank the Vice Mayor for fulfilling what appears to be a dream of some council members and also some residents, and that is to make the council more efficient, more time efficient. So thank you very much. I'm willing to give it a try. I'm not sure how it will work out, but I'm willing to give it a try. I think it's a step forward to see if we can make a more efficient council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? The only comment I'll make is, I know we talked about the county's process. I've gone to the county commission on a number of occasions. I frankly think their process is non-democratic, to be honest with you. You arrive, an item's been pulled, it's been put on consent agenda. You now don't even have the opportunity to get up and speak. I do appreciate that you're allowing the opportunity to speak to consent agenda, although I do feel that we offer that opportunity at the beginning of a meeting. Maybe all it requires is us saying at the beginning of the meeting, hi, the following items have been pulled from consent agenda. Therefore, if you're here to speak on one of those particular items, you may want to come up during the public comment, but the item likely will pass. I guess you would have then the opportunity, by way of this, to then pull the item if you heard public comment not in support of, or heard comment either way. I guess it would be not in support.
May I address that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so right now, we actually don't have a way of removing items from consent agenda if we have people come out for requests, petitions, and public comments with concerns, because the deadline would have been 12 o'clock prior. This gives us that ability to finalize that consent agenda as to what goes on and off of it way more easily and way more robustly. So this actually allows people to come in during the meeting, express concerns, and then we can remove it. And then we will essentially be able to decide as a council what we want to discuss during the meeting, except for ordinances. So I get your concern with the county's process. I really don't like it either. That's why I wrote this the way I did, as I recognize how the county can have some undemocratic tendencies. I wanted to address all of those here, and I think this is a much better process. So hope we can give it a try. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anything else on the item? All right, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll on the item as amended?
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer?
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Cody?
No.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore?
Yes.
Mayor Karen Cunningham?
No.
Councilmember Marsha Matson?
Yes.
The item passes 3-2. We'll move into ordinances for first reading now. That's item 11A. Would somebody move item 11A?
Move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, can you please read the item?
An ordinance of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Florida, providing for defense and indemnification of members of village boards, commissions, committees, task forces, the Charter Revision Commission, and other bodies created by the Village Council, providing for implementation, providing for codification, severability, and an effective date. This ordinance is being heard on first reading and is sponsored by Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Thank you. Public comment?
Gary Pasquarello, 6940 Southwest 142nd Terrace. So we're going to provide indemnification for all the board members and everybody else. So to what extent? They haven't even violated the law yet. So to what extent do we provide that? If they violated sunshine, are we going to protect them for making their own mistakes? This makes no sense at all. So we're going to provide indemnification no matter what they did. If they violated sunshine, they called somebody when they were supposed to, or even council members spoke amongst themselves amongst things. This makes, we're going to give them a free pass. Go do what you want. You got a free pass. You're going to be taken care of. No matter what you do, you got a free pass because you're now going to be protected. Let's look at it that way.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Sally Chinkachith, 7740 Southwest 177th Street. As a volunteer member of the Resiliency Committee and current chairperson, I'm not sure about this particular that we're talking about right now. It's ordinance, thank you. Marsha Matson, I apologize if I'm not directing you directly, but I think it's a interesting perspective, but for someone who's on a committee right now, we do have certain rules that we have to follow, and we're doing our best to follow them, and I don't think that the protection that is asked in this capacity I don't know if it's the best thing. Like, I'm worried about things that are going to be violated that we shouldn't be violating, and that those things are already in place, and as members of these committees, we are aware of them, and we are doing our best to make sure that we don't violate them. I appreciate the protection, however, I think it may be unnecessary, and that is just from that perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Last speaker.
F. Gerald, 14271 Southwest 74th Court. Having been on several committees
in Village of Palmetto Bay. I think it's about time that something was put in place. We are on committees, we are all volunteers. Sometimes we make innocent mistakes. But to be vilified and sued for perhaps an unknowing mistake, how are you going to get anyone to serve any of these committees? I really think you know the rules, but sometimes a rule is broken unwittingly. But what is the result? This isn't someone running away with our treasury. So I really feel that there is a need for this, to make sure that if people step up and agree to serve on any of these committees, that they're not going to be gone after for what generally is a fairly innocent mistake. And we're not talking about something major here. I don't think that has ever happened. But I feel very strongly, as having been a member of various committees, that the volunteers need to feel that they can serve without worrying that the slightest thing will get them in trouble, and they may be sued, and then they have to hire an attorney. We don't get paid. Attorneys are expensive. And I'm appalled that people on volunteer committees get sued for what are basically minor things. And they really, we need to protect our volunteers. We need to encourage people to volunteer. We need to be able to reach out and get more of our village involved. But without these protections, you're really going to have a lot of people who say, well, I don't know what will happen to me, especially when news comes out about people being sued who sit on a committee. So I think there's a serious need for some protection. How that indemnification will work, I don't know exactly, but I think it's a good idea. And as I said, I feel very strongly, having been a volunteer and also on the Charter Revision Committee as chair years ago. So I would urge you to support this. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we had one comment by form. Madam Clerk, did we have one comment by form for this one? I think we did.
The public comment submitted by form was provided by Pamela Gorman, 14140 Southwest 72nd Avenue. Currently, as a member of Art in Public Places Committee, I volunteer my time and expertise to serve my community. Recent behavior of a council liaison toward members of the Charter Review Commission justify this ordinance. As a volunteer acting in good faith, I too would like protection from lawsuits and ethics complaints. I strongly support this ordinance. End of comment.
Wonderful. All right. With that, Councilwoman Mattson.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Well, it's sad that I have to put this forward, but recent circumstances have alerted me to the possibility that committee members may be sued, and at this point, at least one is being threatened with being charged with an ethics complaint. I've talked to many residents, and people are genuinely afraid of speaking out in Palmetto Bay, afraid of being sued. They don't want to serve on committees, and they don't want to come out and speak public comments because they're afraid of being sued. Now, this ordinance responds directly to our volunteers who serve without pay from the goodness of their heart on our committees. And it's really never happened before that I can think of, but it might happen in the future. It has. It may happen in the future, and I'm just trying to prevent them from having to pay for an attorney for doing something, saying something in good faith in part of their volunteer activity, and having an ethics complaint filed against them, costing thousands of dollars in legal fees, or a lawsuit in legal fees, and the village stepping back and saying we don't have any involvement in this. So what I put in here was, I worked very closely with our village attorney. He and I went back and forth. And he, of course, is interested in protecting everyone, including the village, and I'm interested in the same thing. So I would call this a compromise ordinance in terms of some protection for volunteers from actually being sued for performing activities in good faith. And if you go through this ordinance, you will see that the village shall reimburse reasonable attorney fees and litigation expenses incurred by the covered person when the matter arises from official duties and the covered person acted in good faith within the scope of official duties and official capacity. And nothing in this ordinance requires a covered person to accept representation by the village attorney as a condition of eligibility for defense or reimbursement. To the extent a covered person elects to retain his or her own legal counsel, the covered person shall not be entitled to reimbursement of legal fees, if any, until the final conclusion of the proceeding. Such reimbursement shall be authorized by the village council and shall be approved administratively upon certification of the village attorney that the requirements of this section are satisfied. However, in no event shall such reimbursement be paid to a person under any of the following circumstances: conviction by a jury of any crime, irrespective of whether adjudication of guilt is withheld by the court. So person is not covered if there is a finding by the Commission on Ethics that the covered person violated any applicable ethics provision. There's no protection by the village if there is a finding by the Miami-Dade Ethics Trust that the covered person willfully violated any applicable ethics provision involving misuse of office or personal financial benefits. There's no coverage if there is a plea of guilty or nolo contendere which has been entered into on the covered person's behalf, irrespective of whether adjudication of guilt is withheld by the court, or a court stipulation has been entered into by the covered person wherein the covered person agrees to dispose of the charges by compromise rather than by adjudication of the merits of the issues of the court, jury, or other adjudication body. So essentially, if the person is found guilty or found to have probable cause of, say, violating the Sunshine Law, the village does not indemnify that person. What it is if the person is found not to have done something, and then the person does not have to cover those lawyer fees, and that the village stands to protect the person for acting in good faith and for having an unjust or a fictional charge levied at that person. So I hope that you all will support this. Thank you.
You're welcome. Questions for Councilwoman? Councilmember Cody?
Thank you. Let me ask you, what would happen if someone wanted to hire an attorney who charges $1,950 an hour, which is a lot more than the contracted rate that we have with Weiss Serota? I believe it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Attorney, $112 an hour?
Our contracted rate?
Yes.
No, 312.
312. What will we do in a case where someone is looking to get nearly $2,000 an hour because, it's a senior name partner of a big firm by the museum? Do we limit ourselves to the lower rate that we charge or that we pay our village attorney and his firm?
Under section I, let's see, under section I2, the village reserves unto itself the right to deny any request under this section where the covered person has failed to select qualified counsel or where the proposed fee schedule is deemed unreasonable.
And so is it also true that the village council has the ability to reject any fee payment or any fee coverage for anyone under this?
Only in the situation in which the person does not qualify under the section of this.
All right, well, in that case, I need to ask questions of our village attorney. Okay. Now, Mr. Attorney, now, as I read this, the ordinance does not guarantee payment of legal fees at the outset of a proceeding, correct?
I'll find the section, but there was a section on request and approval. It had to be within 90 days of the completion. So yeah, it's not at the outset.
All right. And so that person first has to incur legal fees before the village has any obligation to step forward, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And under this, there's no provision that creates an automatic right to payment upon request, correct?
Correct. There's a process to go through with a reservation of rights.
And so then reimbursement requires review by the village manager, concurrence by the village attorney, and approval by the council. All three of those have to happen.
Correct.
Okay. And if a volunteer acted in good faith, payment can still be depending upon those multiple layers of approval, correct?
Yeah, depending on the circumstances, yes.
All right. Now, the ordinance expressly states that there is no private cause of action to get back the attorney's fees.
Yes, sorry.
So if the village council decided they did not want to cover it, the village would not be the object of a lawsuit by that particular person.
They should not be, yes. There's nothing in the ordinance that should.
They couldn't sue the village in that circumstance.
Correct. I mean, well, I should say anybody could file a frivolous suit, but they shouldn't have a basis to do so. Yeah.
Now, the village doesn't have to approve the council ahead of time, the one that's chosen.
Based on the way it's written, correct. Yes.
And so we may have a situation of, let's say, to pick an attorney, a Stearns Weaver, a Eugene Stearns who charges $1,950 an hour, could be brought in as that firm was brought in to represent Councilwoman Mattson. And they could be racking up time at $1,950 an hour.
Yeah, we would depend on the retainer agreement that was entered into, but yeah, I don't know what Gene Stearns charges these days, but that sounds about right.
Oh, I've got an invoice for a matter that they handled, and $1,950 is what Gene Stearns charges.
So keep the questions moving, please.
I will. Now, we can deny reimbursement based upon determinations made after the fact, correct?
You mean like the outcome or reasonableness of the fee or things of that nature?
Any factor that comes in after the conclusion of the action. We are not excluded from bringing information and considering information that is outside the scope of the request for reimbursement, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Now, I'm a little concerned because the ordinance states that reimbursement is ministerial upon satisfaction of eligibility requirements, correct?
Yes.
But the same section allows the village to deny reimbursement if it determines a request is inconsistent with the purposes of the ordinance, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So, and it also allows denial on reasonableness of fees and other discretionary factors, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So the village retains discretion to deny reimbursement even where eligibility criteria appear to be met, correct?
I'm not sure I agree with that because I would consider a reasonableness of fee to be an eligibility requirement.
Okay. Now, would you agree that the inclusion of the word ministerial creates some uncertainty in the proposed ordinance? Because if the council has discretion, then the act is not ministerial.
Yes, correct. Ministerial is a non-discretionary act. It's a, yes.
So, in light of that, Madam Mayor, I would move to amend to go to page, I believe it's 5 of 8, at line 26 and strike the word ministerial and substitute in the word discretionary.
That is your motion?
That is my motion.
Give me one moment, please. Is there a second? Hearing none. The motion fails. Okay. All right. Other questions for Councilman Mattson? Vice Mayor? Nope. Councilmember Fiore?
No questions.
No questions. All right, comments? Oh, I'm sorry, do you have a question?
For our attorney,
What's that?
would anything preclude us, without this ordinance passing, from the council or council member bringing an item to cover the legal fees of a committee member without this ordinance? So let's say someone goes after a committee member with an ethics complaint that gets dismissed because it was ruled frivolous or whatever else. Would we be able to, as a council, bring a resolution to compensate that person for their legal fees in defending themselves discretionarily?
In that scenario, yes, because they would be acting within their capacity as a village committee member, yes.
So we would retain that discretion regardless of this ordinance?
That is the common law. So that, I mean, so if there's nothing on the books, you would fall to the common law. So the common law, yes, it gives you discretion just like it would for a council member if you all have, anybody in their village capacity hasn't, well, I think you used ethics complaint as an example. As long as they are found to be not in violation or it was dismissed, then yes, you could bring that back and council could approve reimbursement of fees.
So my understanding, based on the councilwoman's discussion tonight, she mentioned that she worked with your office to, I guess, bring this item to you and then bring it to council. My core question is then, what does this ordinance change then? Because by the sounds of it, we would still have to bring an item to approve that payment, and this would retain that. So, like, what does this item do that's different?
So so I would say that it lays out in terms of the process, in terms of how a request for approval needs to take place. That's laid out under the common law. There's not necessarily an express mechanism as to, or manner in which request needs to take place, or approval. I would agree in terms of on the ministerial aspect, as long as they hit the elements. So that's where I disagree with Councilmember Cody a little bit, is there's discretion in the elements as to where you go, but as long as you hit those elements, then I think that's where the term ministerial comes in. Whereas under the common law, you wouldn't have that ministerial term. So that's another portion of this that would be different from the common law. In terms of obviously the reservation of rights and things like that, you wouldn't need that under common law because it's a common law discretionary thing, but that gets changed. Also, direction with regard to insurance coordination. I mean, the reality is we would do that anyway. Anything that comes in, we send out to get see if the insurance will pick it up. But things like that. There's a few things here and there, but yeah.
So typically in this example I use, where someone files an ethics complaint against a committee member, comes back frivolous or unsubstantiated, in generalities, would insurance cover that instance?
Probably not. I'd have to look at I'd have to look at the policy because I'm not sure, but probably not.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I have a follow-up question? Now, Mr. Attorney, one of the things that the sponsor mentioned was that in the event that there was a finding of probable cause by the Ethics Commission, there would not be any coverage. Typically, the way that an Ethics Commission complaint occurs is that a complainant makes a complaint. It's taken before the commission. There's a finding of whether there's probable cause or not, and then there's a hearing to determine whether or not there is liability. So, according to what Councilmember Mattson said, under this provision, as she has laid out, if there's a finding of probable cause, does that eliminate the ability to collect attorney's fees regardless of what happens after the hearing?
Let me just find the section. Do you have the section that you're, the line that you were referring to?
I'm calling back to what she said during her statement.
Okay, because I'll have to find it. I'll have to look and see. I don't recall that being in there, but if it's in there, then yes. If that takes it out of being a covered proceeding, then a finding of probable cause would remove it from that. And my understanding of ethics proceedings is the same as yours, that a complaint gets filed, they look at it, see if there's probable cause to move forward, and then at that point they move forward with a full-fledged investigation, which would then go to hearing, or I guess a settlement if potentially as well.
If I may interject here on number 4B, a finding by the Commission on Ethics, the covered person violated any applicable ethics provisions. So it's at the end. Or a finding by the Miami-Dade Ethics Trust that the covered person willfully violated any applicable ethics provision involving misuse of office or personal financial benefit.
Well, but
So
that's
it would be
different
at
from
the
what you
end
said,
found.
because you said upon a finding of probable cause. And what you're reading is finding a ultimate determination. So which one is it?
It's the ultimate determination.
Would you be willing to accept an amendment to
Well,
make it a
I
finding
don't
upon a
see-
finding?
I don't see where that is in the ordinance. I'm looking for that. That may have been me misspeaking.
Okay.
Because it's obviously, if the person is found to be adjudicated guilty or that they violated the sunshine, that's when it kicks in. That's obvious to me. So I must have misspoken.
Okay, well, I think the attorney's still looking just to check. Are there any other questions? Okay. Comments? Councilmember Fiore?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, for the time.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You can have my time too.
Yeah, thank you. Listen, I think we need to be very frank here. This obviously, well-intentioned as it is, comes from an instance that allegedly happened several weeks ago at one of our committees. I can say this: in my 12 years of service here and my 1 year serving on the Charter Review Committee, I was asked to serve by our former Vice Mayor, Mr. Dubois. I've never, ever seen any of this occur, even on volunteering on boards previous to that. So everybody knows the rules, everybody knows what can be said. And I want to touch on something that the Vice Mayor said, which I discussed with our city attorney earlier today. Every one of us on this board can bring forth a resolution if asked by someone that possibly was falsely accused of any infraction. And the resolution, it can simply ask for reimbursement of legal expenses for that committee member. If they were found, if there was no probable cause, if it was an ethics complaint, or even if it rose to the level of a criminal infraction. So we, as a board, have that authority to bring an item forward for one of our residents who, again, could have been falsely accused or whatever the final finding is, as long as it's not one of probable cause or anything in a criminal matter. So I believe we already have that statutory authority to do that, to reimburse. So I don't want to say we'd be making policy where, again, to create problems where there are none. I know it's well-intentioned by Dr. Mattson, but I'm not going to support the item because we do, as the Vice Mayor stated, this council does retain the authority and always has to bring forward a resolution to reimburse one of our volunteers for their legal expenses if falsely accused of an infraction. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I really hate this item. Not because of what's in it, but because you had to bring it. I really do. And when I look at other committees across Miami-Dade County. I mean, Pinecrest has advisory committees, Cutler Bay has advisory committees, Miami-Dade County has several. They even have a charter review committee. None of them are in a situation that we're in right now. And the situation that we're in, and it's really unfortunate, is that we have a situation where I think law in general, from my own view, requires actions in good faith. And what we have seen on this from members of this dais, they have decided to take the prerogative to weaponize the law to essentially make the lives of resident volunteers miserable. And I read some of the emails that were provided to me by the village clerk for an item that was not brought, but the circumstances in it were appalling. And to me, a lot of the situations where we have seen lawsuits filed by members of this dais, they could have been avoided. They really can. And I'll give an example. For the Sunshine Law question about whether or not Mark Levy violated the Sunshine Law, a reasonable person in that situation, if they had a genuine concern, could have just picked up the phone, called Mark, and could have said, hey, I think you made a mistake. Please keep the Sunshine Law in mind in the future. Or, hey, be careful. Or they could have walked down the hall and spoke to the village attorney, like Mr. Quick, who I think is very knowledgeable in the Sunshine Law, and could have asked him, hey, can you review with the Charter Committee the Sunshine Law? Just so that we don't have mistakes happening again in the future. Because that requires grace, humility, and also respect to the members of our community who volunteer for us. And unfortunately, what we've seen is essentially this gotcha with law consistently happening across our village. It's not just with members of this committee, I mean, just myself as well. I've been subject to 2 lawsuits. One of them was dismissed as a, quote, wholly fabricated controversy within the plaintiff's own mind. Again, that could have also been fixed if someone just made a phone call to the village clerk or village attorney saying, hey, I had this concern, and addressed it. So, to me, this item really should not have been brought. It's really unfortunate that we're in this position in the first place. And I would just ask members of this dais, before jumping to the maximalist legal options that you have available to you, because some, unfortunately, no longer practice law, but want to continue engaging in that field, I would just ask that you continue to just try and operate in good faith and try and exercise non-legal remedies before going to the maximalist positions. So with that, I don't know where I am on this item. I think it, unfortunately, because of the way it was written and by the sounds of it watered down, it unfortunately takes away from what I think common law provides. So I'm leaning towards no, unfortunately, just because I'd rather just be in a situation where I can just bring an item to compensate someone like Mark if that ever comes up and take care of it. But we're in a horrible situation right now because of some of the actions of people up here. I really do not like the fact that this had to be brought, and I just hope that we can treat each other as people better, do better. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just make this comment, Vice Mayor. I did try to reach out to Mr. Levy, no response, just to have a conversation with him once I understood there was something going on. So I think sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's not so simple, especially if individuals choose not to, pick up a phone call or call you back. Are there other comments for this? And are we keeping time, by the way? Yeah, thank you. It's my fault. I was supposed to say comments, but I think we're comments. Okay, are there other comments? It's Councilmember Cody.
Thank you. I would like to, well, I tell you what, I will draw it. Let's just go on to the vote on this thing.
To close. Go ahead, Cook. We're going to let you close. Go ahead.
All right. It is very unfortunate that I had to work on this, spend time on it, work on it with the village attorney, although it was a very good collaboration. It's really unfortunate. Volunteers are scared to volunteer for committees because of the weaponization of the law by a council member. And this is very unfortunate. And the only reason I put this together is to lay down a process to have some kind of guarantee for volunteers that the village stands behind them with fictional charges or fictional lawsuits, things that are made up, that the village stands behind them, that they appreciate, that we appreciate volunteers. It's really a shame, but it could happen in the future. easily. I mean, a particular council member has, from my count, about 7 lawsuits. 6 of them are active. One of them was against me as an ethics commission with an ethics complaint, which I won because it was fictional. So unfortunately, that's just the situation. And I wanted to have some kind of guarantee for our residents who give of their time. The village will stand behind them. So I urge you to vote for this, and I appreciate your comments.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. This is an ordinance. So, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Marsha Matson,
Yes.
Mayor Karen Cunningham,
Yes. No. Sorry. No.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore,
No.
Councilmember Steve Cody,
No.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer.
No, but I will bring an item to defend people if needed.
Thank you. The item fails 4-1. If I could, if you don't mind, I'm going to let's skip ahead. I know we've got a couple of the landscape. Are you guys landscape people too? So can we just bring the consent agenda forwards? I know they've got a little one back there.
Second.
Okay. Well. Okay. Are you pulling item either A or B?
It was C.
C.
I'd like to just re-add it. I just had an amendment. I worked with administration on it. If we can move and second it, I would just hope we can just
Okay.
re-add it.
All right.
I move the amendment.
Okay. Let's make sure we get the process right. We've got a consent agenda that is, one of the items is going to be amended. So can you help me out? Can I get 2 of them passed? Or if one's going to be amended, it has to get pulled from the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, unless administration is asking for it to be, just a new one to be considered, but.
So then we don't have to pull it? I mean, other items, we did have to pull.
Yeah, but we should pull, yeah.
I just want to make it clean. It just makes it easier. And it's good to hear the manager supports it, but also, so it's, if I could get, we're going to motion to pull, why don't you just pull item C? Could you make a motion?
It's already been pulled timely, so I don't think.
Oh,
we
you already
need
pulled
yeah.
it. Okay, great. So we're just looking at item A and B then. Can I get someone to move item A and B?
Move it.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, item A and B, just for landscape, E. Rodriguez and Green Experts. Congratulations. Congratulations, you got to listen to half the meeting. That's great. You're so lucky. All right, so we've got, let's get back, we'll go back to the ordinances and then we'll do item C before we do the other resolutions. Item 11B, would somebody move that?
Move.
Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, can you please read the item?
Item 11B, an ordinance of the Mayor and Village Council of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Florida regarding council discussion, amending the Code of Ordinances by creating Section 2-161, use of certain village property, providing for codification, severability, and an effective date. This ordinance is being heard on first reading and sponsored by Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Great. Public comment? I think we had one comment by form. I might be wrong, but very good.
One public comment was submitted by form from Pamela Gorman, who resides at 14140 Southwest 72nd Avenue. The village has taken pride by installing to pay to park to offset maintenance expenses paid by residents' tax dollars. Pay to park I apologize, Mayor.
It's okay, thank you.
The comment doesn't relate to the item, however, the residents labeled the item as 11B.
Go ahead and just finish it off so it will be done.
Pay to park should apply to all village properties, including the 1-acre field not yet developed. This acre is being used daily without charge, while nearby pay to park areas remain empty, reducing revenue to the village. The solution would be to include the 1 acre as a pay to park lot, since it is currently open to anyone or fenced who wants to fence it completely. Village Hall parking lot and adjacent field should be strictly for village business and employees. All other vehicles parked for other reasons should be towed away at the owner's expense. Signs should be posted to that effect in the undeveloped fields and the paved parking lot at Village Hall. I support this ordinance.
Thank you. All right. Councilwoman, it's your item.
Yes, this item says, it's very, very simple. It's so straightforward. To the extent any person or entity seeks the use of vacant or undeveloped village property, such person or entity shall be charged a reasonable fee as established by administration unless said fee is otherwise waived by the village council. So this has nothing to do with fee waivers for charitable organizations. This has to do with vacant or unused village property. And it came up because a resident noticed, and I walk by it almost every day, the unused or the vacant pickleball court, the vacant lot on which the pickleball center is going to be built is parked on by workers from the next door apartment development. And the village owns this lot. The village has also posted pay to park signs on the very street where this lot is located, but they're vacant. The workers do not park there because they can park apparently free in the village vacant pickleball lot. And so it occurred to me to ask some construction people about what they do for their workers when they're building, and where do their workers park. And they pay a fee to rent vacant property to park. So here's the situation in which, to my understanding, the village is not generating revenue from permitting private developers, workers, to park on that property. So all I'm doing in this is establishing that a vacant or unused village property needs to have a fee for use by a private entity, or that fee can be waived by council. And the fee is a reasonable fee as set by administration. So it applies to this property now. It may apply to future properties, but it seemed to me to be a gap in our code that we should really take care of, because of course any revenue coming into the village is important. It's important for us to be able to be fiscally responsible. Now, one other part of this was that a resident mentioned that he thought that the village was being paid under the table for allowing these workers to park in our lot. That horrified me. I never thought that. There's no proof of that. But I wanted to take care of that kind of perception.
Madam Mayor, point of order.
Yes, sir.
That is a completely inappropriate. Councilmember Mattson, I know you did not intend to actually say what most of us heard, and I would like you to withdraw that.
Well, no, I'm just quoting
No,
the
I'd like
resident.
you to defend the
I said
honor
there's no
of the
proof.
people
There's no
you have
proof to
worked
it.
with for
There's no
6
proof.
years.
There's no proof to it. I'm just mentioning why this came up
That
and
is
how I was
despicable.
horrified over it. No, I'm not withdrawing it because it's what a resident told me, and it generated my interest in this particular property and trying to take care of the problem, because I don't think there is any proof of it.
Thank you for
Thank you.
defending me.
Yeah.
I truly
think
appreciate
what
that.
I think that what the manager's saying is, the comment you just made basically just said, I know you're saying that a resident said it, but this is not the first time comments have been made to denigrate the village manager or
I'm
village
not
staff.
denigrating. I said
You
there's
just
no
said
proof.
that
I'm
someone-
quoting a resident and what generated
Well,
my interest in
they're
this.
inaccurate.
No,
It's inaccurate
I'm sorry.
statement.
The resident told me this, and I stand by that.
So you believe what the resident is saying?
No,
is
it generated
essentially-
my interest in trying to disabuse his view of what was going on.
Okay.
We need to have a policy to generate revenue from unused
Thank you.
property.
Okay,
So-
you've explained your
No,
item.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's what a resident said.
Well, the resident is not accurate.
So I said there's no proof.
Go ahead, Councilmember Cody.
I've got a question for the manager.
Yes,
Mr. Manager, The pickleball site, I understand that the building is being fabricated as we speak, and the parts of it should be delivered to us at some point in the near future. At what point are we going to break ground on that property to put up the indoor pickleball facility?
Very shortly, that's actually a good question. The permit process is proceeding concurrently at the village level and at the county level. As soon as they are through at the village, they're going to be able to begin construction.
Would it make any sense for us to tie up that land in terms of making parking concessions to people while we're waiting for the permits to come in, and then have to wait out for that period that people are renting that for? Whereas once the permits are issued, we could put up building construction fences and the construction screens, and work can get started. Is that?
We do expect, let me answer it this way. We do expect work to begin this month, and in fact, I'm trying to push it along as quickly as we can.
And when we begin work, those people are not going to be able to park on that undeveloped, unimproved acreage or
Correct.
acre.
Correct.
Okay, so this is unnecessary. Would you agree?
Well, I don't want to classify it, but
okay, then I will. It's
within a very short period of time, there's not going to be any parking there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Other comments? Go ahead, or question, go ahead.
Yeah, can you explain what's happening? Because I don't fully understand what's happening on that property. If you can just give your perspective, I'd appreciate it.
What has happened is the Shores project does have parking, it does have a parking requirement for their employees. They have been permitted to park on the village-owned property until our property becomes an active construction site. And I mean, both of those sites are going to be active here very shortly, and it's very common among contractors that they cooperate with each other. This coordination took place between the two contractors. The village didn't object to it as a property owner. And it's very common. Those two contractors do need to coordinate and collaborate with each other. And as a matter of courtesy, the village did not interject and stop it.
One more follow-up to that. This is the same property where we had our 4th of July event, I think it was like 2024?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Just wanted to get that out there. All right, thank you.
Okay, are there other questions? Okay, comments? Go ahead, Vice Mayor, we'll just come down the line.
Yeah, I would just say that it's unfortunate, the perceptions. I don't think it was justified. I think we've had a long history with this property and that we've used it for the 4th of July. Am I a fan? I think there could have been a little bit more communication, maybe, I don't know. But it's one of those things where we use their property. I don't really have a problem with them using ours in this case. I appreciate the intent in you responding to residents. I don't agree. I think it sounds moot, but I do appreciate the intent, and I know that you're working for the best interests of the residents, but I'm not going to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilmember Cody?
Yes, I'm not going to support it either, and I would like to emphasize and echo what the manager said. I think that your comments were despicable.
You should talk.
Okay, guys, no, we're not
You
doing.
should talk.
We're not doing that. Thank you. Are you done with your comments?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Fiore?
No comment.
Thank you.
I'd like to close.
Go ahead. You got to close?
Yes, I'd like to close. Okay, so all this is closing a gap in terms of raising revenue for the village. And it's routine practice, I found out by doing my research, that if a contractor or a developer is using an unused lot to park his workers, then he arranges a rental payment. We have nothing in our code that says that we should charge a fee, and if we don't want to, then the council should waive it. That's all. It's just filling a gap. It's just filling a gap in our code where we may have other properties in the future, and this thing might happen again. It's happening right now. It's a time-limited thing, I understand, but this is something that's really logical, is that we should raise revenue from private entities using our unused property. And if we don't want to, then the council should waive the fee. Really, that's all this is. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't think there's anything else. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore,
No.
Councilmember Steve Cody,
No.
Councilmember Marsha Matson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer,
No.
Mayor Karen Cunningham.
No, thank you. Item fails 4-1. All right, we'll do the consent agenda item first in the resolutions, and just for the record, I am pulling item, sorry, I want to make sure I get it right, 14C. Do I need to do anything to do that?
No, since it hasn't been moved yet, it would lack a sponsor, so it wouldn't be on the
All right,
agenda.
thank you. All right, let's go to item 12C. We'll keep it with the same item number. Madam Clerk, would somebody move item 12C?
Move it.
Second.
Is there a second? Madam Clerk, can you read the item?
Yes. Item 12C is a resolution approving and concurring with the stormwater revenue sufficiency forecast prepared by Raftelli's Financial Consultants as a subconsultant to Kimley Horn and Associates, authorizing the manager to transmit the approved study to relevant agencies and to take all necessary steps to support implementation. The resolution is sponsored by administration and prepared by Public Services Director Dionisio Torres.
Very good. I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, you pulled the item. I see, did you give us both of these?
You did the same thing.
No, I know, but I like this.
That's from the manager.
Okay, yeah, okay, this worked out good, thank you. Go ahead, you want to talk about your changes and let us hear from the manager too? Well, you wouldn't have any comments because we pulled the item, but go ahead.
I'll be quick. I've had a number of meetings with the village manager, village attorney, resiliency team, Dio. It's been a pleasure working with you over the last couple of weeks on this. Essentially, what this does is expand the menu of options as to what we can use our stormwater fee for if we were to come back and the studies show that this is usable for our stormwater fee. Essentially, this is a priority of the tree board. By the sounds of it, I've met with a number of their members that all seemed very open to the idea, but essentially what this does is essentially allow us to do a rate study that would justify a later ordinance and policy change that allows us to broaden our stormwater ordinance to essentially prepare our village for sea level rise and other challenges in the future. So this essentially just modernizes our program and pushes us in that direction.
Thank you. A couple of quick questions, actually, for the manager. First of all, Vice Mayor, I know it's a comment, not a question, but thank you for working with the village manager. It's much clearer to me when I can hear from him, who I speak to frequently on some of these things, so thank you. And of course, Dio is amazing. Just giving you some clear direction. What is our current rate? And I guess I could ask Dio, what is our current rate?
$5.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
$5
per year.
And when did we increase the rate? It was a few years back, right?
2021 or 22? I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, it was prior to my arrival. It would have had to be.
Would have been
I think
2019, maybe.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, that's probably right. And when is that? So it's the last time we upped it. And just for this is really for my own information. I know it's not directly related to this, but bigger picture, it might be. What are the other cities? And I know I should have asked first, but prior to the meeting, if you know what other cities are charging? Because I know the other cities around us have higher rates than we do.
And as part of this study, they'll do a more in-depth of what the current rates are, I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I think Pinecrest was at like $10 per ERU in that neighborhood, and I think Cutler Bay was in the same general neighborhood or trying to change theirs to that same number.
And at some point, do you foresee bringing an item to do an increase?
Well, I mean, we don't know, but the purpose of the study is to determine, among other things, service levels. We also have enhancements that if we were able to afford them. There's a lot of advocacy from the tree board, for example. We do fund our tree program through stormwater. So there's a lot of enhancements we can do in order to make the village more resilient to storms, sea level rise, and those other type of effects.
When will the study be completed?
We're trying to get it to align with the budget cycle, so hopefully we would have something by October.
That explains everything to me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Yeah, just to add to that conversation as well, one of the conversations that I've had with our village manager on our stormwater program is that this is the single most important livability item that we are considering as a council. There is a cost of doing this, which obviously is going to be the cost, but there's the cost of not doing this, which is as we're facing sea level rise, more storms. I remember during my first year as vice mayor, we had like a storm in like late April. It was actually around this time of year that basically the bulk of our streets were flooded. And the infrastructure that we're trying to do is incredibly important to ensure that our homes are protected and that we're in a decent situation whenever we do have those storms come in, when we do have sea level rise and the other challenges. So as we're looking at this, this is an incredibly important program for our village. And I would just say that I'm incredibly proud to have worked on this with Dio, the manager, and also staff, because without this sort of program, we would essentially be, our stormwater program would be essentially on gray infrastructure, which is important, which is like the stormwater drains, the French drains, all those things. It's really important. But stormwater issues are beyond that. They're things like trees, permeable surfaces, how we build, how we regulate, and how we decide as a village how to move forward. So this is a huge step forward if we were to approve this as a council. And I'm excited to get to work on this and looking forward to comments and discussion on it when it eventually comes back when the study is complete.
Thank you. Are there other questions, or how about comments? No? Okay. Then all those in favor?
Aye.
And we're voting on the amendments, all the amendments first. Is that what we should be doing?
Yes.
Okay. We voted on the amendments. All those in favor of the amendments?
Aye.
Aye. Now we're on the item as it's been amended. Is there anything else? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Beautiful. Thank you. Next item, we're on to resolutions. 14A. Would somebody move it, please?
Move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, can you please read the item?
Item 14A is a resolution relating to Section 30-160 of the AIPP program, accepting the recommendation of the advisory board of the proposed artwork by artists Gus and Lina Acompu-Silva from Gus Lina Fine Art to install the art piece titled Mangrove Tree at the traffic circle located on Southwest 152nd Street and Old Cutler Road. This resolution is sponsored by administration and prepared by Sustainability and Resiliency Planner Andrea Candelaria.
Thank you. Public comment? Did we have any other public comments? No. Okay. Ms. Candelaria. Oh, wow. Vanna. We're going to call you Vanna. Vanna White. Love it.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Village Council. My name is Andrea Candelaria, the Resiliency and Sustainability Planner, but also the staff liaison for the Art and Public Places Committee. And I'm here to present to you all today the recommended piece by the Art and Public Places Board. So, as you all remember, this was our take two for the call to artists for the traffic circle on 152nd Old Cutler Road. The Village Council approved of the new call to artists based on council's feedback, as well as the Art and Public Places Board at the November council meeting last year. We advertised our call to artists from November of last year to January of this year, and we received 207 applications. For reference, last year we received 165. The Art and Public Places Board met on February 26th of this year to decide for the top 4 artists for the in-person proposal maquette presentations. And as you see in front of you, these are the 4 proposal maquette presentations that we received. On April 9th, the Art and Public Places Board selected Gus and Lena Ocampo Silva's proposal of mangrove tree. The team is a husband and wife team. They're located locally in Florida and Clearwater, and they're responsible for over 40 permanent monumental art projects, not only throughout the state, but throughout the country as well. The artists were inspired by mangroves based on the call to artists that was posted. Mangroves are very native to Floridians, but very familiar to Palmetto Bay residents. The piece is actually divided into 2 parts. The top layer is a surface layer with the top leaves of the mangroves, as well as an egret, as well as the underwater portion involving the roots and the fish as well. The sculpture is made entirely of aluminum to prevent any rusting. As you can see, the sculpture is proposed to be 18 feet wide as well as 21 feet high. And lastly, the artist team proposed a total of 9 months for installation date, did not account for the permitting schedule, and as recommended by the council, the budget was increased to $185,000. That's all, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Questions?
Andrea, would you give the names of the pieces and the artists?
Of course. So in reference to just their pieces or in reference to the scores?
Both.
Okay.
That would be good.
So from your right, from my left, the piece over here, which is this one came with 79 points, the lowest scoring one from the art board. This is called Drifts by Michael Szabo. He's the artist that actually did the Frangio Road traffic circle, for if you want to be familiar with it. This piece is called Palmetto Rise. It's by Hunter Brown. The proposal was actually in blue. This was just 3D printed in black, but it's called Palmetto Rise.
What was the score?
The score came in 3rd over 3 out of 4. The middle one is Mangrove Tree, as you've mentioned, by Gus and Lena. It came in 1st ranking by the art board.
What was the score on that one? So
The number was, I believe, 84.2. I can double check. And while I'm looking, lastly, this one is called Palmetto Rising, not to be confused with Palmetto Rise. This one is by Curtis Pittman. He came in 2nd overall. This piece received 83.2 points average, and the mangrove tree that was selected by the art board received 84.2 points. So there was 1 point difference between the 1st ranking and the 2nd ranking.
thank you. Vice Mayor?
To our attorney, my understanding is we as a council can approve any one of the 4 projects up there.
Yes, and in fact, even in the call to artists, it talked about that the AIPP was a recommending body with the final decision would be made by the village council, yes.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know what anyone else's comments are. I'm not I like number 2 better than number 1. That's just my personal opinion. I think it also kind of goes with other things we have in the village. I know art is personal and subjective, but I'm not a big fan of, it's beautiful, but I don't personally see that artwork on 152. That's just my humble opinion, so.
Talking about the Pittman one that's called Palmetto Rising.
Well, I'm having a hard time. I'm speaking of the ones with the birds, which one, it's this one that,
Right, but you're proposing to select this one, correct?
I'm proposing the first one, yeah. Which came in second, is what I understand.
This one came in last.
I'm sorry.
This one came in fourth. The one that I originally held, that one came in second.
Okay, well,
Mayor, do you want to, I have the score sheets, if you want. Can you put my computer up here? And I can just very briefly put them up. Would that help or not?
sure. Councilmember, you were on the board. I assume you will be able to give some input. You were there, so.
I was there.
Okay.
Yes. Everybody knows that art is subjective. The one that they chose by 1 point was probably my least favorite. It, to me, is art in the same way that all of the sculptures that we have by Romero Brito are art. It's something that tries to shout very loud that it is art, but does not require any interpretation or reflection. My personal favorite was number 4, which that is just a white maquette, but actually it is very colorful. And when you take a look at, because this is going to be a traffic circle, to me it has a different look as you go around it. It does look like palmetto leaves, and yet if you look at it from a 90-degree view, it has almost a bird-like quality in terms of the wings. The second one that the mayor pointed out, that was proposed being done in, I think it was a teal blue, which is like half between a green and a blue. Yeah, that one, Michael Szabo's, I think a lot of people in the village felt that, well, once we had a chance to, or I mean, on the committee, once they had a chance to look at it, they saw in a 3D form that it was very similar to what we already have out on Franjo Road in that traffic circle. So the feeling was that it was a bit duplicative and really didn't say.
I think, excuse me, ma'am. I think it would be helpful if you would hold up when people are talking about each one, that you hold up what we're talking about, because the numbers 2 or 3 don't really mean anything to me. The artist or the maquette does.
Okay.
Vice Mayor?
From what I'm hearing, I feel like the consensus is like, I don't think anyone up here likes the first place. I'm not a fan of it either. The question is, what do we choose instead? I like second place. I like actually all of them except for the first place one personally. So as a matter of policy, I mean, I'm happy to choose any of them except for the first place one. So I'll leave that up to the council. One idea that I just had is there a way we can do our own like evaluation sheet while we're here, while we proceed with the rest of the meeting and come back to the item and just hand it back to the attorney or the clerk and then she reads out the results of what we chose? Or I don't know what the best way is to select the art piece, but I'm open to any of them except the first place.
Councilwoman, thank you.
Yes, I attended all these meetings from the last one when the artist presented. And I like the one on the end, which is called Palmetto Rising. It's the white one on the end. and I think that's the one that came in number 2. Is that the one you were talking about?
Yes.
Councilman Cody? Okay.
Yes.
But I think all of them are really nice, but I did prefer the one on the end. And I just want to praise the council for putting more money into this and for AIPP for asking for more money, because I think we got real quality products. I really do. And I'm happy to say that I like them all, but I do prefer the one on the end, which is Pittman Palmetto Rising.
I move to substitute the art project as Curtis Pittman Palmetto Rising as the project of choice.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
It was to put Pittman, the one right here, it's Pittman Palmetto Rising, I think it's called. Is that right? Yeah, so what are the colors of it?
What I can do is I can attach the presentation to the folder.
You can just come by with your laptop and a picture
Oh,
and
you,
show
like
us.
just, I could, okay, I could
swing
also
on
do that.
by. Just trying to make it more efficient.
Yes.
Outside of it, is it, okay, is it metal, made of metal?
Yes. Aluminum and then clad with paint, a baked-on paint, as I recall.
Yes, it's a coated steel pipe, so it's made of steel, but it's coated with paint.
I'll run with that. That's fine. I would say this one that won, if we're ever doing something at one of the parks, like near the playground, it's very whimsical, and again, it's subjective. I like it, but it's not what I envision for the middle of a circle in the middle of the city. Yeah. Okay, so
Do you want to see the other ones, Madam Mayor, or are you good?
I'm good.
I think we're fine. They're all saying we're fine. Okay, then the...
Vote on the amendment?
Yeah, let's vote on the amendment. It's to put the far one that you just saw in the picture as well into the resolution. All those in favor of the amendment to the resolution?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. And is there anything else? Just last question, when do we foresee the
Well, I think the
installation?
process now is to, I guess it would be to inform the artists that were selected, and then I would have to go back to see if the artist is still willing to work with us again, because they were under the impression that they weren't selected. So I would have to see that.
Very good. All right, and you'll let us know by email, I guess, we can find out.
The original time frame that he gave in his presentation for the installation was around winter of next year. But
Okay, yes.
Madam Mayor, we still need to vote on the resolution. We voted on the amendment,
Yes,
but not the full.
I'm aware. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, I appreciate that. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Andrea, very good. Very good. That was easy. All right, Mr. Vice Mayor, it's all you.
We are now on item 14B. Can I get a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Moved has been seconded. Madam Clerk, please read the item.
Item 14B is a resolution formally requesting that Miami-Dade County Department of Transportation and Public Works evaluate and implement appropriate traffic control and calming measures along Southwest 87th Avenue in connection with the opening of the 87th Avenue Bridge, and directing the manager to transmit a copy of this resolution and advocate for its implementation. This resolution is sponsored by Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Thank you. Any public comments on the item? Seeing none, do we have any public comments by form? Madam Mayor, you're recognized.
Thank you. The item's pretty straightforward, just asking We know the bridge is opening, I think, in 2 weeks. Is that correct? I don't know. I hear different dates, but soon, yeah. And
No, I think what Director Torres said wasn't soon, but June.
June.
Correct.
Not noon tomorrow, just June. Okay, June. Gives us a little bit of leeway. I was under the impression it was in a couple of weeks. And I know we've already observed, at least I've had plenty of people already observe, no car traffic, but bicycles and golf carts doing a test drive over it. So this item is simply just to direct the manager to move forward and have conversation with Miami-Dade County Transportation and Public Works to evaluate the traffic conditions on 87th Avenue in anticipation of the opening of the bridge. You know, we had talked to the county multiple times in the past. We have a very limited budget as it relates to traffic calming. This is their street. I don't know exactly what we're going to do on all of the streets surrounding that area. I know we had a speaker early on this evening that's on the south side, and appreciated her comments. I think, you know, if we go back in time, we did try and implement as much as we could on the south side of the canal, which was signage through the county, which the county agreed to, and on our part, significant resources spent on enforcement of the no right turns, and then of course speed humps. But 87th Avenue is going to look a little bit different, you know, as it relates to those intersecting streets where in some cases there are currently stop signs. I think we have to figure out, you know, how we're going to safely have traffic moving in that area. And I want to be somewhat proactive. I know maybe a month doesn't seem proactive enough, but it's time that we at least start anticipating what we're going to be looking at after the bridge opens, and then make sure that we're able to implement appropriate traffic control. So it really defers quite a bit to the village manager. I don't want to dictate to him exactly what he's going to be saying and how he's going to negotiate it, but to at least have him start those conversations, I think would be helpful.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing that, I'll actually ask one to our manager. My understanding is that there has been dialogue with the county on this. I'm wondering if you can share a little bit tonight as to what those conversations are and what things might look like once the bridge opens from the village's perspective and how we're moving in that direction.
Yes, sir. Actually, Director Torres and I have had extensive conversations back and forth over the past really half a year, trying to get approval for preemptive traffic control and traffic calming measures. I mean, we've already identified there's going to be 2 bottlenecks north of the canal on 87th Avenue at 160th and 155th Terrace, where there are 4-way stop signs. We believe, based on data that we have from 82nd Avenue and also farther south on 87th Avenue at 174th, that traffic does back up at those stop signs, and then that causes a great deal of cut-through traffic. In fact, I'm not going to attribute all of it, but much of the problems that plague Malbrook are really due to that intersection at 174th Street backing up. It causes people to begin bailing off of 87th Avenue into Malbrook. We do expect, unfortunately, those same type of dynamics on 87th Avenue north of the canal. We requested that the county give us the authority to in place at our expense quick build traffic circles, similar to some of the projects we did in our Safe Streets for All campaign. It would enable us to put in traffic circles, eliminate the 4-way stop, and keep the traffic flowing on 87th Avenue. Unfortunately, the county, and I understand why, you know, they're traffic engineers. They want the bridge to open. They want the traffic to stabilize, the traffic patterns to stabilize. Then they want to do a very detailed traffic study and figure out what type of measures need to be put in place. I think that all works well on paper, but unfortunately, we all know what the impact is going to be and what many of the residents are going to expect. And unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until, again, the traffic pattern stabilizes and we can get a traffic study completed. So that's where we are, Vice Mayor. We've requested other authorities as well, various no right and no left turn signs, and all of those have been turned down by the county. Again, I'm not throwing shade at them. I understand why they want to do it that way, but I think we already know that we're going to have two major problems with those four-way traffic intersections.
Yeah, and I appreciate the proactiveness on it as well. So any other questions? Councilwoman Mattson, you are recognized.
Oh, am I understanding you correctly that even if we pass this, it's going to be irrelevant for the county? They're just going to wait until the traffic patterns reveal themselves?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be irrelevant. I think it's going to help having, because right now it was just Director Torres and I. Now I've got the Village Council has passed a resolution, hopefully unanimously, and I'm going to be able to take it and, you know, that's going to carry more weight than just the village manager and the public works director, I think.
Any other questions? Seeing none, comments? Any comments? I'll make a quick one. So I actually went by the bridge today and I did see it was pretty much near completion. There was nothing stopping me from being able to walk on the sidewalk across it. There's no barricades, there's no signs saying I couldn't. And I also saw other residents walking across the bridge on the sidewalk there, so it is very near completion. So the work that we're doing here is really important. I did speak to the Commissioner's office on this. The county, from what I heard, they are willing to work collaboratively with the residents in that neighborhood, and my understanding is based on this conversation, the manager is already working with DTPW on this. The Commissioner's office has told me that if any of the residents who are watching this or in general have concerns about cut-through traffic in their neighborhood as a result of the bridge, her office stands willing and able to assist with inputting that concern straight to DTPW and working collaboratively with our community. So I just wanted to relay that on record that her office is prepared to listen to the residents on this in terms of the cut-through there. So please feel free to reach out to her office if there are issues, because especially we're in this 90-day period, that feedback is incredibly important. So with that, I thank you for bringing this as well. We'll see where this goes and go from there. And Councilwoman Mattson, you do have a comment?
Yes, my only comment is that I am concerned that those no right turn signs in Malbrook, going into Malbrook, are going to disappear with this. I think so. Well, the county's, in my memory, the county's been trying to get rid of those no right turn signs for quite a while, and we've stopped them, but I'm just concerned that Malbrook is going to have a lot of traffic then being able to go there. Even with the bridge going in and the problems north, they're still going to be losing those right turn signs. But we'll see what the county says, and then we'll have to take it from there. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, do you want to close?
Yeah, I'll just keep it real quick. I think, and thank you, Vice Mayor, I don't disagree. This is a collaborative issue that needs a collaborative solution. Individual residents can reach out to the Commissioner's office, but I think at the end of the day, they do look to us to provide the solutions, or at least the answers that we receive from the county. Hopefully the resolution will help Director Torres and Village Manager Morano in the endeavor for putting in traffic calming devices in the areas that are needed. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm calling the question. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, congratulations, it passes.
All right, we are now, I withdrew C, so we're now on our last item. Item D. Would somebody move it? Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, can you please read the item?
Item 14D is a resolution denouncing racism and anti-Semitism in any form, urging the president of Florida International University to discipline students who engage in racist remarks through a group chat, encouraging the president of FIU to provide racism awareness and sensitivity training for said students, and directing the clerk to transmit a copy of this resolution to the president of the university. This resolution is sponsored by Councilmember Patrick Fiore.
Do public comment?
Gary Pasquarello, 6940 Southwest 142nd Terrace. I would also support this. Recently, we know that the FIU students have been using a chat and horrible racist remarks attributed to one political party, and this particular group has gone way overboard in chastising and use extreme profanity. I think they need to be further disciplined. They just need to be evicted or whatever the term is when you throw them out of school.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Bev Gerald, 14271 Southwest 74th Court. I certainly support the intent of this resolution. However, I would probably hope that it isn't just anti-Semitic remarks that have been made, but egregious remarks against any ethnic group. It probably should be expanded. It isn't just anti-Semitic remarks. I come from an extremely diverse family, and I take very seriously comments of a racist or an anti-Semitic nature. So if the maker of this feels this is broad enough, I'm okay with it. But I'm wondering if there's anything else that there are people who have gone after people who are Islamic. So that's not anti-Semitic. So unless I'm misinterpreting this, but I understand the intent of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Sally Chegachith, 7740 Southwest 177th Street. As well, villager members who came up, I definitely support this, excuse me, I don't even this particular piece of legislation as well, and thank you for bringing it up. And definitely with the previous speaker, I would like to ask that the language be changed to all racist statements, because if I recall from the Herald article, that it was not just anti-Semitism, but it was also very racially heavy on other races as well, especially those of black, where they had a black Republican remove themselves from the WhatsApp group and such. But definitely to expand the language to be much more inclusive of other people of color. And really appreciate the council person for bringing this up, and for the village also for standing with its residents and our multicultural. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and close public hearing. Councilmember Fiore.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think as someone said earlier this evening, it's a shame that we have to bring certain items like this up. It is just a resolution. It's basically a recommendation to the president of FIU. I don't want to go into it does say, just to address a couple residents' concerns on line 2122, the Village Council and of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Village Council denounces all forms of racism and anti-Semitism. I don't want to go in. Yes, you have a First Amendment right. I understand that. But this was, for lack of a better word, this was in writing. This was horrific. I already stated as the father of biracial children, but anybody would be offended by what was said. And as far as I know, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, the president of this university, as usual, probably did nothing. I don't know. I don't know what the if what the issues are to address this. Perhaps it was addressed, but I have not heard anything of substance denouncing this, especially in the we are the most diverse country in the world. Maybe Brazil is right there also. And I don't want to go national here, but we seem to, as diverse as the country is becoming, there are elements in this country that want to take us back 60 years. And I don't understand that, and that can't continue. So I think when we see racism and anti-Semitism and all forms of racism against any ethnic group, we need to speak up. So it is just a recommendation sent to this president, who I don't know how she got her job or what by that I mean, what the process was. I don't know the politics of the state that well. But I think a strong message needs to be sent that maybe something needs to be done or something needs to be said at least. Again, it's a recommendation that goes to the president of the university. It doesn't go to any of these students, to any newspaper or anything else like that. So I would ask you all to support this, and I'll be optimistic and hope that FIU can do much better in the future, their administration. I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any questions? All right, comments? Councilwoman Mattson and Vice Mayor.
To my recollection, we have already passed a statement. I'm trying to think of how long ago this was. I think it was a year ago. We passed a statement condemning anti-Semitic statements. It was a discussion we were having. We've already made our support, or our, put it this way, our opposition to anti-Semitic or racist statements. I really don't think we're in charge of disciplining FIU students on a group chat. I haven't seen the group chat. I don't know what they've said in it. I really don't think it's our purview to get involved in FIU student group chat. So I understand the intent is good. I don't think it's appropriate for us.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, so a couple of thoughts on this. As a member of Gen Z, and unfortunately the generation that is involved in this group chat, this is a huge problem with my generation, and it is actually a problem that's on the rise. I don't remember the data off the top of my head, but if you were to look up some of the views of some members of Gen Z, especially in a certain political party, the views that some people of my generation have are just grotesque. And it is a horrible situation that we're in, where that we had a situation where we had that group chat in the first place and people thought it was okay. So this hits close to home with me, and especially with some of the rhetoric that was in there, it is really disturbing, and I think something needs to be done to at least educate and combat this hatred within specifically my own generation. I will say, though, I wanted to offer some important context and also directly address something the sponsor said about the president's office at FIU. She has actually been incredibly proactive on this, and she has not been silent on this matter. In a public statement she issued on March 10th, President Nunez confirmed that the FIU's Office of Civil Rights and Office of Student Conduct and Academic Integrity have reviewed more than 1,200 pages of evidence and have formally initiated charges based on those violations of the university's non-discrimination regulation and its student code of conduct. And those are charges that will carry consequences, including potential suspension or expulsion. The resolution currently states that none of the students have been disciplined. I don't think that framing really reflects where things currently stand. The proceedings are currently active and ongoing, but they're just simply not public, which is probably why you haven't heard of it. Because as federal law requires, and I think the teachers up here on the dais are probably a little bit familiar with it, FERPA is the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, prohibits the university from disclosing information about ongoing investigations and individual student records. It's essentially a federal obligation that they have to follow, which is why they haven't fully disclosed this. So FIU has made their institutional stance abundantly clear that the administration and the Board of Trustees have stated that they will not accept, tolerate, or condone any form of racism or anti-Semitism. And I would just say that if we're going to have this resolution, I just would hope we can update it to reflect that fact that yes, they are going after these students to the fullest extent of law and the toolkits that they have available. And my understanding as well is that the one student who was on that, or the one non-student who was on that group chat was also trespassed from FIU as well. So they are doing everything they can to combat this. So I would just hope that we can update it to reflect that and express appreciation for those steps so far. So with that, I would hope to have your support as a sponsor on that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I mean, I'll defer to you and to the mayor or to anybody here, our village attorney, if there's something you want to remove here, you know, I'm, you know, open to that. I think I made my point, basically. And if there's any, but, you know, since all this is a recommendation, a suggestion, we're not demanding anything, we're not claiming anything. It's only based on what was read. But if there's something, Mr. Vice Mayor, you're better at this than me. If there's something in section 2 or any section you think should be removed, I'm open to that.
Are you asking, like in the fifth whereas clause on line 33 of page 1, to add where it says the village understands that to date, add the line or add the phrase an investigation has commenced, and then but none of the, and then continue on?
I would just say that investigation has commenced. Okay. Because that's a factual reality, and that's what's publicly available at this time just because of FERPA.
And I could probably say leave out discipline any and also engage. You can probably add, what did you say, Mr. Vice Mayor?
I think instead of the word encourages, applauds or recommends, or I don't know the word, but like I would just like to reflect it to reflect that, hey, there is an active investigation that's ongoing in that paragraph.
Yeah, I'm open to whatever you put in there. That's fine, if it makes it easier.
Can I get a motion to extend for 5 minutes till 10:05?
Yes, second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so does someone want to articulate what the changes are? Are you
I'll defer to the Vice Mayor, Madam Mayor, if that's okay, because he has to be a co-sponsor on this also, so.
Sure, it's, well, I'm sorry, you're saying Vice Mayor and I'm speaking. Go ahead. I see where we're talking about, so do you want to?
I'm trying to think of the wording. Encourages the president of FIU to continue to pursue all actions. Just the words "to continue" would matter here. So to continue all actions too. So on line 19, right after the parentheses, would just say encourages the president of FIU, Jeanette Nunez, to continue to pursue.
And can you look at the whereas that says to date nothing has occurred? And
yeah, I see it on page 1, line 34. The village council understands that to date, strike everything after that and replace it with to date. The administration of FIU has placed these students under investigation and has trespassed one of the members of that group chat.
Madam Clerk, did you got it? And I see the attorney writing as well. Okay, that's your motion. I heard Councilmember Cook, God bless you. Second. I gotta wait for somebody. Madam Clerk, are you able to read, or shall we ask the attorney? Yes, thank you. When you're ready.
So I have the change on page 1, line 33 to the whereas clause would read, and I'm not sure I got it word for word, but it would read, whereas the village council understands that to date, the administration of FIU has placed these students under investigation and has trespassed one of the participants in the in the group chat. Yeah, sorry, I didn't finish the sentence there. And then the other change was where it talked about encourage the president to discipline. It was encouraged to continue to pursue, and the insert that there.
And also to continue to provide racism and anti-Semitism awareness.
Got it.
Are you okay now, the councilwoman? Are you, I mean, did you hear, you heard what he said?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, you're welcome. All right, that's it? Okay, let's.
Madam Mayor, just one last comment.
Yes.
I mean, basically, you know, people in authority, I think, on issues like this, just need to be bolder and maybe speak up louder. I think that's all I'm really saying. I don't know what was said by this, or not, you know. Frankly, I couldn't even continue looking at this. It was, you know, I just closed it. It was so bad. So, and I thank the vice mayor, because I don't know exactly, again, what the president of FIU said or didn't say. I just, sometimes we let our emotions take over, and it kind of hits home to me. So if that's what happened, I thank you for putting that in there. And that was really the basis of my resolution. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Welcome, thank you. We have to vote, though, on the amendments first. So all those in favor of the amendments?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. And then now on the item as amended, is there anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, it passes 5-0.
Thank you.
No, thank you. All right, 10:03. Any other business? Can you give a report in 2 minutes?
Okay, if you could put me up very quickly. Very quickly. Okay. Moving right along, spring recycling on my left, you see kind of the statistics of what we collected. On the right, you can see how patrons classified, you know, extremely satisfied. So we did very well there. Veterans Park, groundbreaking, May 26, 11 a.m. Pickleball, as we talked about it, is being reviewed concurrently by the county and the village. The Woods, we completed our volunteer cleanup, had a total of 53 volunteers, 325 plants planted, and a bunch of garbage and old tires were removed. Public services, sub-basin projects that are just getting underway, 12 and 42. Sub-basin 44 is just about complete. Traffic calming program is still in progress. The village, for the 82nd Avenue bike lanes, we are purchasing a total of 650 units of the armadillos. If you drive by 184th Street, you will see that the sidewalk gap project is very near completion. And let me move on. Planning and zoning. The only thing on the agenda here in May, second reading, Fernando rezoning agricultural to estate modified single family. And with that, May the 4th be with you. I've been waiting all meeting to do this. So I did it, 2 minutes, Madam Mayor.
And also with you.
All right, it's 10:05. Is there anything else?
Well, I just wanted to welcome now Major Rodriguez as our commander. Did not get to give your speech, but your presence was felt. Your brooding omnipresence was felt. So thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, really quickly on the zoning issue, is there a way we could just hear that during the June council meeting and just cancel the zoning meeting? Because I understand that we had quorum issues. Is there a way we could just have that special zoning meeting for June something?
Yeah, that would be very helpful to me. I'm not going to be here on May 18th. I do not have a family emergency. just another family conflict. So if we're able to, are you talking about the May item?
Yeah, if we can just move that to the June meeting and do it special, I'm fine with that, just to move in that direction so that we don't have to have the meeting.
Yeah, we would just need to renotice it for the June meeting at,
Good idea.
I'll move to do that.
Second.
Third and fourth and fifth. I'm going to take it all. Great, I appreciate that. I wasn't going to mention it, but great, thank you. That helped. It's helpful. Okay.
Thank you very much for the new items in the manager's report. I loved seeing them. We now have a public services table that shows month by month streets, stormwater inspections. That's wonderful. And we also now have a parks use by type for activities in the parks. And that was excellent to see. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's been moved to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, good night, Palmetto Bay.